Yo, 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 what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 348. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez,
Photon Cannon!
Carlos Romero,
Yo, yo, yo.
Adam Vale,
CM Punk.
Brett Murdoch,
What's up, people?
and Brian Manjoma.
Man, these Tony stories.
Nah, mine's don't match the Adam stories, though, man. You know? Shit is crazy. Yo, by the way, shout out to you guys in the chat. We saw you guys popping off in there for like the last 5 minutes, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, and it was my fault that I kept you guys delayed. I had to tell these guys some personal shit behind the scenes, which may not be so personal if everything goes right, but we'll see what happens, you know?
Yeah, don't jinx it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why,
it.
I'm one of those guys, bro. I'm like, yo, this is why I didn't tell you guys from before. I'm like, I don't want to jinx shit. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
You know?
You tell it when you're ready.
Exactly.
That's all I
And
say
just to
about
let
that.
and just to let the people know,
Second.
Tony is not having a midlife crisis thinking about eating pineapple pizza. It's not that.
Yeah, you better relax with that shit, man. All right, before we start, a couple things. I want to give a huge, ultra huge shout out to the Iron Lords podcast, man.
What?
I was on there. I joined the realm today. I entered the realm. Lord Cognito, King David, Lord Attic, man. Like, I was with those guys. It was some good stuff. Long. It was like an old Throwdown episode. It was just 3 hours long and stuff. And I have been planning this with Lord Cognito for a long time, but they always have guests booked in advance for months, you know. So this was back. We made this back in like May, I believe. You know, that's how long it's been into working. But, you know, me and Cognito, we've been friends for a while. I met him at E3. Like a long time ago, right by Smashburger too, you know. And but even though we had already known each other on Twitter, and it was good stuff, man. You know, a lot of good stories in there. You know, I talked about my past and all, you know, current events and stuff. And I'm just gonna segue right into it because I don't know what's going on this weekend, man. There's something in the water. You guys asked us a lot of questions, right? But yeah, one of the things we talked about over on the Iron Lords podcast is what we're going to be talking about right now, answering your questions about Halo Infinite, man. Because you know, when you drop news on a Friday evening, basically, you know it's not good news. Which is what happened. You know it's not good news, bro. I get back home because I was in the city chilling, drinking and stuff. Carl was like, yo, Tony, you heard this Halo news? I'm like, what the fuck you talking about? Come to find out Halo ain't got no co-op, bro. What? After this shit we've been through. But anyway, we're getting into it. Let's get into these questions, man. So I'm just going to combine a lot of you guys' questions, man, because, again, it's a lot. So, yeah, Halo Infinite will have co-op and Forge mode at launch. So what does the panel think of that?
I mean, to be honest, I feel like it's the whole situation with them trying to improve the baseline game has probably taken precedence over developing their fully developing their online mode. The one thing it's all in the name though. Halo Infinite. They're gonna keep you there. So I feel like if it's a little late, that's okay. You can, you know, they're gonna probably gonna be if it's Infinite, they're gonna constantly keep adding things to it. I don't think there's anything, well, at least on my end, I don't think there's any real reason to go sort of get mad over it because it's all gonna come. You know?
Yeah, it's like having something, you either have something or nothing. And what would people prefer? They would rather have something. And I could understand if it was from let's say a smaller studio, because I was like, shit, man, these people aren't going to do it. They're just busting it. They're not doing anything. No, but this is Microsoft. You know they're good for it. Plus, a large majority of people are not buying it outright. They're just going to have it on Game Pass. So it's not like, oh, damn, I just dropped something for $60 and then I can't use this shit. Oh, my God, what happened?
So I'm going to cut you off, Adam. Because this is something that bothers me to all hell. I'm like, we're gonna use the guise of Game Pass to let, you know, certain developers off the leash for not having features in the games. So like, where is this gonna go? You know, it feels like.
Well, I can understand that. I can get that if, let's say, this becomes a trend. If this becomes a trend where they're just telling us in advance, hey, by the way, you're just getting, let's say, some more broad. It's like just single player and multiplayer later, or just usually multiplayer they'll do first and then single player. Because we've already seen those two downloads. Like Call of Duty, when you go to install it, it's like, hey, you want the single player or the multiplayer? And you can delete one or the other and just have one mode. So on that level, I could see it as being a new standard of like, hey, we're working on the campaign, have some issues, whatever, but here's the multiplayer, and people be cool with it. So I mean, I sort of fell off on the whole Halo. I know you're into all of that, so probably for you, does it really matter at this point, or are you just happy that you're gonna have some Halo to play before next year? Because I think that's their end goal. It's like, hey, we don't want to just drag the whole thing out if we know that these two parts are 100% complete. And you know this because we're being open about it. And what we're going to say, oh, half of it's done, those work, but the other half doesn't. So we're just going to wait till next year. Then people will bitch. So either way, people are going to bitch in some way, but at least you have some Halo to play for the holidays. So I don't know. It's up to you, Carlos, because you're the guy who plays it all the time.
Well, here's my thing, right? For all these actually years now, you can say this. Been playing the Halo games co-op with Carlos leading up to this one. So I hear this news, I'm like, what the fuck, man? What's the point now? Like what I'm going to do personally, because my thing is me playing Halo for the first time with Carlos is an experience. I'm waiting. I'm not going to play this out long. So it's fucking pointless. By the way, for you guys, we're going to change our plans now. We're going to play Halo 5 next. Scratch that. We're going to play Reach and ODST. Because we got time now. Because of this bullshit. So here's the thing. I'm of two minds, right? Like, personally, I'm fucking annoyed. I'm just being honest. I'm like, come on, guys, you've had this mode forever. It's a mode I enjoy playing with Carlos, and I can't do this on day one. This is fucking stupid. But at the same time, objectively, I understand it. I'm like, okay, either we remove this mode or you delay this game again. Right? And I'm pretty sure Microsoft's like, no, we can't delay this shit anymore. Get this thing done. And I'm pretty sure some of the reasons it's because remember, this is called Halo Infinite. It's supposed to have bigger maps and everything. Maybe they're having a hard time. By the way, I don't want to give too much credence to this, but there was like somebody who apparently worked on the game leaking shit on Reddit. So take this how you will. But apparently they were having some serious issues with the respawning, right? Because in the old Halo games, they're very linear maps and stuff, right? But if you have 4 dudes across a giant map and somebody gets killed, how's the respawning going to work? So apparently that's been causing all sorts of headaches. So they're like, fuck it, let's just focus on this for now. Again, don't take that with a grain of salt, but I can believe that, because because there's got to be a reason for it. Because like this is a thing that's been in there since day one, and since think about it, this isn't called Halo 6. This is Halo Infinite. This is something different. Right, so I'm guessing
all the backlash. Yeah. Remember all the backlash that everybody was bitching about how it looked. They probably had to redo a bunch of shit, textures, all that. That takes time.
Yeah. By the way, again, we're combining a couple of questions. So Mob Hits, Epic Geezer, Kishak, and thank you guys for asking us a bunch of these questions. So again, I'm just gelling them all together here. So do you think it would have been better to delay this and deliver a full game, or do you think it's just better to just release it pieces at a time?
Well, here's the thing with me.
Yeah.
If the vision for this game was to release with Forge mode and co-op campaign, then I would say just delay it until it's ready.
Yeah.
Because if key features, and these are key features.
Yeah, they are.
If key features of the game are not available when the game launches, then the game's technically, objectively not ready. It's just not. And if it takes another delay, we live in the era where delays are preached on Twitter. You'll get a game will delay, and you'll have the clap emojis. You'll have the what's her name? Fucking Meryl Streep emojis where she's pointing at something. It's like you'll have people defending it. Because of the Rona is the main thing that people bring up. So for me, I'm going to be consistent with that, and I'm going to say the game's not ready, delay it. And I understand that people want to play it as soon as possible. It's like, should we hold up on these features so the majority of the players are able to play it during the holidays? And I'm like, that's a nice sentiment. I have no issues with that, with the sentiment at least. But the fact that the game was delayed for a year, it was delayed. 343 thought this game was ready for last year.
Yeah.
Until it received the backlash, so they delayed it for more than a year. I think they had a date for November, if I'm not mistaken. It could be wrong. But it was supposed to release in 2020.
Yeah, they just said holiday,
Yeah.
No,
So
yeah, go ahead.
so it's like they delayed it a whole year and it's still not ready.
Yeah.
So just be safe, delay it. We don't know what else could be wrong with this game or potentially could be wrong in this game. So, clean everything out, fix all the rest of the bugs that are there. Make sure that the campaign co-op is there. Make sure that Forge mode is ready, and just delay it till halfway through next year or something. I don't know. I understand that there's logistics. There's shareholder. No, not really shareholders because this is Microsoft. Microsoft doesn't. Halo is not gonna tip the needle between how Microsoft's going to do with their shareholders.
I want the backlash, like we just said before. It was like it was already delayed, and then they say, "Oh, damn, it's delayed again." Come on now, and then they know it's going to be a backlash. So either way, there's going to be a backlash. Whether people bitch that it's delayed or people bitch that it's half baked, but at least I don't know. For people that are diehard Halo fans that just want to play new Halo, I'm sure they'll be happy. They don't give a shit.
Yeah. Well, I won't be happy because I'm with Tony. I was planning on playing this in co-op. We were getting ready.
Yeah.
We were getting ready for this game launch. We're like this is what we're gonna do. Every month we're gonna stream a new Halo game so we can be ready for Infinite. And we were doing that. We were holding into the schedule, and now campaign co-op's not ready at launch. So yeah. I am salty in a personal sense because of that. Hopefully, if what they release doesn't have any issues, I hope that's the case. I'll probably play it. I'll probably play the multiplayer. I won't play the campaign until the co-op is there.
Yeah, because multiplayer will be there day one at least, But yeah, it sucks. Couple of things here. Again, I'm just going down to questions here. What is the reason for? Okay, what is the reason that you think the delay is there? Is it pressure from Microsoft or is it incompetence on 343's part?
It's just rebooting from all the issues that they had. I mean, people bitched. They bitched about how it looked, and that takes a lot. It wasn't like, oh, it's just that one area. They didn't say, oh, that just was the rough patch. That was probably the entire game. So they're like, shit, we got to redo all this. What are we going to do? And I remember a bunch of people were quitting. And
yeah, that's right.
So it was like, all right. And if you worked on any kind of project, when you have higher ups, these weren't just like admin guys. These were head up guys leaving. It's like, now we got to find someone to fill that spot and then fill them in and try to get everybody on the same page. You can't just throw a piece in, like, all right, you ready? Let's get the machine running again. It takes time. So every time one of those big names leaves, it's almost like a restart when the next person comes in. So
well, you got to take this into account, Adam. 343 is not a new studio anymore.
No, they're not.
This is their technically their fourth Halo work. They worked on 2 mainline Halo games, and 3 including Infinite, and they worked on the Master Chief Collection. And we already know how Master Chief collection launched. So they're not a spring chicken here. And you have to do comparative analysis between games. It's like Halo 3 launched in 2007 with Forge mode, with campaign co-op, with single player co-op, with couch co-op, shout out to Brett, and with multiplayer, all day one.
But they didn't have the issues at this one. They didn't have to restart everything. They didn't have their head designers.
They didn't have a global pandemic,
Yeah, they didn't have a pandemic. There's a bunch of variables that come in that they didn't have to deal with them.
It wasn't always online,
Yeah.
The campaign at least. So there are other variables in there. The world wasn't on the same scope as this one is going to be either, Because their 343 is basically trying to do their version of Destiny, these giant maps and stuff, So there are factors, but I'm with you on the sentiment, Carlos. Like, people have expected these things from Halo. This is like launching Street Fighter without versus mode. It's like, wait, what? Really? How do you do that? So yeah, like, again, personally, I'm like, delay it. That's what I would want. I want to delay. In my head, it's delayed. I'm not playing it until it's done. But I think the pressure is there, man. I think they're like, we need to get this out, because till this day, Microsoft Xbox doesn't have an exclusive yet at all. I understand Xbox Series X is doing great and all that, fine, but they still don't have anything. It'll just look bad. So like, fuck it, let's get this out there. And the other factor is, I'm skipping ahead a little bit with questions here. I'm like, the Game Pass factor may be something we got to consider here. They're really like, listen, people already subscribed to it. They'll keep coming back. Fuck it. Just put this out now, and we'll fix it later, So that's another factor to consider too.
I mean, to be
we'll
honest,
add the features later. Yeah.
Yeah.
again,
Manny.
again, like I was saying, I think the infinite thing also implies that there's going to be things that are going to be missing from the game that will come in later. You obviously can see that they're already trying to work toward a sort of piecemeal sort of game development. You know, they piecemeal your games to you. Piecemeal. Who's to say that now you're going to piecemeal a whole title to people? That they'll just the serve you up the main campaign with some multiplayer bits, and then later on until they figure out whatever the hell other stuff is going to work, you'll get that piecemealed. You get piecemealed some additional content to the thing, or some skins for your characters.
I remember when I was bitching because Red Dead I was about to bust out a Manny. I was going to say Red Dead Revolver.
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption 2 online wasn't coming out day and date. And I said that was a big mistake. And it was a big mistake because the game wasn't ready.
Yep. Well, they concentrated mainly on the main title and then worked on the other stuff. Here's the thing, like, this could also be a logistics issue. Like, could this be the same sort of thing? Like, maybe there's just not enough people within the studio to essentially squash all the stuff. So that means that we need to wait for the other part. Either that, or they do like Microsoft, not Microsoft, what like EA does or Activision does, where literally they just hire out a whole another studio to handle all the additional aspects of the game. Adam said it himself. Like Call of Duty itself, the main campaign is one, and then the co-op is actually something else. Or not the co-op, but
the campaign is, and then the multiplayer, and it's all broken up. And even Warzone, all of it, you can just delete 2 parts and just keep one. They're their own games in their own right. So
which means that they're all different games that are all developed on the same baseline by different studios. So is Microsoft willing to do something like that? Essentially make a jump off studio that just handles the multiplayer aspects or the co-op aspects of the game?
I don't know, man. One of the other questions
you
go ahead.
There's always the question is like something's got to give somewhere, right? We are we expect these studios to give so much, but still want more. You know what I mean? Like, you want the game to look good. You want this to happen. You want this to happen. Okay, so that means more people need to make this happen.
Yeah, you're right about expectations, though. It's like, again, always relate things to The Simpsons. This is like this one episode where Principal Skinner's mom was at the grocery store, right? And she was like, I want all my items in one bag, but I don't want that bag to be heavy. That's basically what people are demanding. It's like, you can't have one without the other. If you want this game fast, some things need to be sacrificed. But if you want it good, then you got to wait,
So, yeah, I feel like maybe that's what this is. It's just essentially they realized that they had an issue, which I'm sure the guys at 343 were telling Microsoft, listen, this shit is not ready. And they said, we'll show it anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, listen, I still maintain that had the original footage that was shown of Halo Infinite been well received, we would have gotten that game last year. I guarantee you that. Because I'm pretty sure 343 was like, this shit ready. Microsoft like, oh, it's Halo. Everybody loves Halo. Put it out. It's crazy. Go ahead, Carlos.
It's one thing if this is Call of Duty. Call of Duty. A lot of fans are complacent. They can get one advanced warfighter and still survive and live to tell. I don't know how the phrase goes, but whatever. 343 and Infinite. This is regardless of what happened with 4, regardless of what happened with the Master Chief Collection and with 5. This is what they're going to be known for.
I agree.
This Halo Infinite title is what is going to either start their legacy or going to be the game that's going to put it downwards. So do it right. Exactly, do it right. Make sure this is ready. Make sure everything is in place for this game to succeed. And I understand the optics. I understand the logistics. A lot of people are expecting this game to come out this year after a 1-year delay. That's understandable. People are going to be upset. Also, there's no other game. I don't think Sony's going to release anything at the end of this year.
I don't think so either.
So they have the chance to take the spotlight from them. So I understand why they want to release this game as soon as possible. But if the game's not ready, don't release it. Just delay it more. It's your flagship title. It can,
What do people say in the chat? How do people feel about this in the chat? What's the general consensus there?
Yeah, what do you guys think? So you think this game should have been delayed or what? Let us know. One of the other questions we have here is, how long is 343 going to be allowed to make these games until Microsoft finally pulls the plug on them? I think I'm with Carlos. I think this is their last shot. After this, get id in here and fucking do these games or something, because I think 343 they've been given more than enough chances, and they're not giving us confidence. They're not, So either they need a change of leadership there, or they need a change of studios. But
yeah, I mean, it's even, me and Tony played Halo 4, and it's a fine game, but it's not, they haven't been making games that have brought the franchise back to anywhere near its former glory. So, with a title as big as Halo, Microsoft wants and they deserve to have, especially with all the money they put into these things, to have a big hitter that can compete, with the bigger titles. So yeah, I think 343 is really they're a Halo Infinite failure away from making avatars. Yeah, that's all.
Oh yeah, no, they are. It's make or break time, literally make or break as far as I'm concerned. One of the other questions we have here is, I think we already kind of touched on this. Is it better to delay a game entirely, or do we think it's better to release whatever's done? I think delay it. Just delay it. Like
I agree. Yeah. I agree with delay it because again, we don't want you see what happens. We all see what happens when they just say, we're doing it live. Yeah. Literally, we get fucking Cyberpunk. That's what we get, right?
And that's another factor in this too. Why we saw the original 8. Nobody wants to be that next Cyberpunk. Yeah.
No,
go ahead, Brett.
People seem to have forgotten the whole idea of you only get to make one first impression.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. You're 100% right about that.
It's an interesting thing because obviously there's also exceptions to that rule. Like you look at any of the Ubisoft titles, some of those things launched not in a glitchy state, but in a state where it's just like this is stupid. Like, what is this garbage?
I absolutely know what you mean, but let me see if I can try to do something. How do you guys feel about Fallout 76?
Yeah, well, there's always that first impression, right?
Exactly.
Yep. See. Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic game. I've been playing it. I play it 10, 15 hours a week, man. Like, it's my go-to game. I'm digging out all my... I put probably 300 hours into this game.
Wow.
Easy. And it's one of my favorite games, but it's never going to live down that stigma, no matter how much I tell you guys, like, dude, it's an awesome game. How many are you willing to play it? None.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
to be fair though, I wasn't interested in playing an online Fallout game to begin with. I made that very clear, But you're right about that. First impressions mean a lot, man. And for people, when this game comes out, even if Halo, I'm sorry, Adam, even if this game turns out to be what it's supposed to be, people are still gonna remember Craig.
But anyway, I think when it comes to with the difference here, they weren't up front. They were like, "Oh, here's the game," and then people were like, "Yo, I got all these problems. This is wrong. This and this." At least with on Microsoft's end, they're like, "This is what we have. This is what you want." And these parts are 100% complete. They're not half-assed. They're saying that the pieces that are not complete are the ones coming later. They're not saying that what they're giving us is semi-broken. Yeah. Like, well, you could sort of play this kind of like a beta, but not fully. No, they're saying this is 100% done, these parts, and the rest is coming after, but this is good to go. This is final copy right here. So there's a difference there.
So, Adam, general consensus in the chat is everybody's like delay it. Everybody's saying that.
Yeah. Well, they don't. Who do they instill confidence to about them being 100% on it on all the things they're going to be 100%? This game was supposed to come out last year, and they delayed it.
Yeah.
And now
people didn't like it. People didn't like it.
Two key features of the Halo franchise are going to be missing day one because they weren't ready. So it's like what? So now we're supposed to believe that everything else is like sparkling fresh and
I think
shiny.
I just think this says something about how troubled the development is in this game, bro. That's what I think is going on behind the scenes.
It's a big sign when your game director just leaves.
Yeah. Didn't they have two of them leave?
Yeah, they literally had a bunch of some of their main guys leave. To be honest, it's like again, I think it's like somebody over there said, "Hey, this is not ready," and then just said, "You know what? We told you so."
Yeah. Oh, I agree with that. Developers, they know, they knew, you know. But the
If this
higher
was
ups,
if this
Oh,
was
good.
the coalition, if this was Playground Games, if this was any of the Bethesda studios, then they might have more, they might instill more confidence to me on the state of the game.
yeah,
But 343, man, they still haven't won that trust
they
for me.
haven't.
So
10 years they haven't won it. You know.
I mean, to be honest, like I feel like those old Halo games are such a hard act to follow, right? Like
It's a different
anything,
time, definitely a different time.
you know, especially with the how things sort of went off at the end. It's like, how do you stand up to that? I mean, and this goes to some of the stuff that we've been saying before. Like maybe it is time to give Halo a little bit of a simmer time. Let the, you know, what is it? What's the saying? You know, absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah.
Well, they have.
Okay,
It's been a few years.
It's not just that. Tony and I were talking about this. We want to make. I think at least both of us agree. I'm curious about you guys. Franchise fatigue isn't about how the consumer feels. It's not about how well received the game is. It's not the customers who are getting fatigued. It's the franchise itself that is getting fatigued, in the sense that there's nobody there. There's not enough creative input to make that idea fresh on that solid of a basis. You know, Assassin's Creed is still Assassin's Creed is still Assassin's Creed. Yeah, there have been some overhauls, but if you had given these overhauls to us all at once after a 3-year break, it would have been fucking mind-blowing. But instead we got drip-fed, right? So there's not enough creativity to funnel all these reiterations. I wouldn't say Call of Duty gets franchise fatigue if they did something different every year. But they don't do something different every year. And people still buy it. It's still a successful game. People still like it. But it does suffer from franchise fatigue. So there's an important distinction there, that when we say something like that, it's more about the developers and the creative team than, you know, people being like, oh, people are sick of this game. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that they should really take a step back, consolidate these ideas, and come out with something really good and fresh in a few years, instead of just kind of giving us a carbon copy of something a little different.
I think.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I'm not really talking about the fan base. I'm really talking. I agree. I'm talking about the developers in general, sort of, kind of trying to figure out what that is. And I feel like I don't think 343 ever really figured out what a Halo game was.
I agree.
They literally hit the ground running. I mean, people don't remember that the first title that 343 took over, when they took over the Halo franchise, they had a guy named Ryan Pateman on there who left. The guy, Ryan Payton, used to work at Kojima Productions. He used to do all this sort of stuff. So he was a serious developer. Now, that is the biggest sign out there. If a guy that you specifically hired to do this job just literally walked off and opened up his own studio, which means that this environment that these games are probably being made in are designed by committee.
Yeah.
Why didn't these guys, if you had your game directors just walk off this title, this current version of this current Halo Infinite game, you literally have them walk off the title not far after after the public reception. What does that tell you? What kind of environment is that? Is this a place that's conducive to creating unique titles, or just sort of trying to churn things out again? I don't know.
No, you're right. There's the creativity is not really there. It's probably not fostered because, you know, they got to make these games under certain parameters. You know, they have to stick to them, and creative people are not going to be happy about that, so they dip. You know, too many constraints.
If one of us were to sit down in the seat of there, would we be allowed to do the things that you know, to try to create this title, or would you have an oversight committee constantly telling you what a Halo game is and what things that you need to hit?
Yeah, and not only that, but also the things from like modern games that you need to hit as well. So it's just a bunch of things in there that's like just stifling them, I believe. You know.
Yeah. So I feel like, if in general, once the what is the dust? Let the dust. What should have happened is, what the dust should have be allowed to settle, them to sort of regroup and try to figure out what a Halo title is. And here's the thing: maybe Halo Infinite is the future of Halo, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what this is. But who knows?
Yeah. I want to read a quick conspiracy theory from Kishak here.
Uh-oh.
It's kind of interesting though, because I mean, I think it's obviously a conspiracy theory, but maybe a grain of truth in there. Who knows? He goes, I think Halo Infinite will get co-op and Forge later because of Game Pass. Microsoft wants to extend Game Pass subscription since Game Pass allows games to release unfinished and to be fixed later. Also, they might be monetizing Forge later. What are your thoughts?
They wouldn't do that with Halo. They wouldn't take a chance with a flagship game like that. They do that with maybe a smaller one for some, but not with Halo. Are you kidding? There's too many eyes on that shit. Too many eyes. Look at the backlash it's getting now.
I feel like that's a weird, nefarious idea. Like I don't think that anybody out there is sitting and actively planning to fuck the customer base. What we do have is an incentive to fuck the customer base and people not necessarily wanting to go against the grain. So you see more apathy in these kinds of things than outright like, aha, I know how to do this. We'll hold it off. That way we can get more subscribers later. Like, no, Halo is not done and they're scared to release it. It's one of the biggest IPs of all time, and it got torn to shreds last time it saw the light of day. Like, and this is right after Cyberpunk, right after the market has displayed exactly what they're going to do. They're like, this is exactly what we're going to do to people that don't give us what we want. And they fucking strung them up, man.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, of course, Microsoft is being super wary about this game. They'd be dumb not to.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with. I think that's probably what it is. It's not that they're like going, let's delay the game. You know what I'm saying? They're just like they're scared. You know, and like we said, these games are being run by committees, so committees probably shook. So they're like, all right, let's just, you know, wait. But at the same time, they also want to get the game out there. You know.
Yeah, but nobody wants to be responsible for Halo failing.
Yeah,
they
but
don't
again,
want to be that guy.
You're right though. But think about it. This is why it's the almost September. And we don't have a release date yet. We just have 2001 holiday. That's all, 2021 holiday. That's all we got. So we'll see, man. We'll see. Shit is not good over at 343 Industries, for sure, man. Yeah. All right. Moving on here. This one is not Halo, but it's still inspired by it.
Okay.
All right. Mob Hits. Actually, no. Kishak, excuse me. Has Game Pass. Develop the reputation that it's okay to release unfinished games there because they'll get fixed later on. A lot of people have been saying that over the weekend. They're like, see, we keep telling you guys Game Pass is giving developers use to release unfinished games so they can patch them up later. The other incident before this was, the Ascent, right? You know, they released this game, it was not in a finished state, and it's constantly being, like, you know, evolved and stuff.
It was finished. It was a fun game. I mean,
no, but even the developers come out like, oh yeah, we got to fix this and that. Even developers admit it. It's like, yeah.
But they always, everybody says they have to fix things.
Yeah.
There's always issues. I have yet to have one game. Go ahead, play any game you want, that modern game, and take a look at the update versions. If you see anything past 1.0, then there you go. There's always going to be some issues. There's always going to be stuff that we bitched about it before, about games that ship on a disc and your disc is pretty much a broken version. Yeah. Because as soon as you plug it in, what happens? Oh, you need your day one patch. That became a thing, right? We all know about a day one patch. We expect a day one patch for almost everything. As we review games, Tony, right? What do we see? Oh yeah, there's gonna be a day one. What we known issues, a fucking 2-page long thing about all the known issues, but yet they're still releasing it. Right? They're like, hey, you know these issues exist. Please disregard that because we got day one patch. Well, that kind of sucks because what if you don't fix in that day one patch? We said this is going to be fixed and now it's not going to be fixed. Now we're all liars.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I think it's just the optics of it, since a lot of the Xbox Game Pass games that have come out in recent weeks and months, like, they've been having these kind of issues, like, more than usual. It's kind of building a narrative, even if it's not 100% true. That's what the perception is now, and this is just the biggest version of it. It's like, okay, so this is what Game Pass is really about. It's just these kind of piecemeals of games until we get the full thing. So it's creating a perception, even if it's not real. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Brett.
I think it's people just trying to find excuses just to dig at Game Pass. Because if this is true, then how does this explain Last of Us 2 multiplayer?
Yeah, they're right. You're right about that.
Yeah.
Like, again, the point there is that these games have always been doing this. Like, this is one of the things that we complain about for years on end. I mean, if this is true, then how does this explain GTA 5 multiplayer?
Yeah.
It was not there at launch.
You know?
Yeah, like, so many games before have launched without being complete. Just because they're on Game Pass doesn't mean that Game Pass is now the gateway. It's like, no, this has always been the thing. Just that now they're on Game Pass. So I think people are just trying to find a way to like stab a Game Pass because they're just not happy with Game Pass for some odd reason. So yeah, I think
It's
it's
not
just people
odd,
just
Brian. You
complaining.
know exactly why, bro.
Of course, it's just it's a weak excuse. It really is. Like, if you want to be mad at Game Pass, to be mad at Game Pass for doing things that Game Pass is actually doing. Not trying to make up stuff and find stuff.
Yeah.
This is like the equivalent of like digging up someone's tweets from like 5 years ago and say, "Oh, this person said this like 5 years ago." It's like, who cares? Like, honestly, who cares? No one cares.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think there's some truth in
Hey
what
man,
you're
you
saying
wish me
there.
happy birthday 5 years ago, man. You
man,
taking that
simple.
back?
Take it
Yes, I
back.
am.
Take it back. There
Take
you
it
go.
back. Apologize. But again, it is creating this narrative. But I think Brian may be honest. Maybe narrative among the fanboys. Because you're right. Like, not to get too off track here, but you're right. Because like the only bad thing I could think about when it comes to Game Pass is like, let's just say there's a game that you've wanted to play for a while. Suddenly, it's going to be gone from Game Pass next month. And like, how am I going to finish it? So that's it. That is a legit concern.
Yeah, that was my complaint. That at least you're like, oh, well, you get notified when it's going to leave. Yeah, but why not when you post the game, have at the bottom just say, hey, it's posted on this date.
Yeah.
It's leaving on this date. So then that way you could reorganize your queue. Be like, oh, you know what? Then maybe I should play this one because this one's only going to be here for 2 months and that one's 6 months.
Yeah. I think that's a legitimate complaint, but the other stuff, it's kind of silly. So I don't know if I don't think it's encouraging that patch it later mentality. This is the thing. Ironically enough, right? I remember writing a post about this on Cool Stuff the blog about like, yo, what's with all this patch later mentality? 11 years ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
11 years ago I wrote that shit. So it's not a new thing. So Game Pass is not encouraging anything. It's already been there, the whole patch it later mentality,
There's actually on Digital Foundry during the what was it? During a recent tech analysis for Crisis on the Switch, there's actually a small bit that actually sorts of talks about these sort of patch it protocols that happens with game studios. And you say a lot of times when it comes to submitting the game and actually it actually is quite a bit of time between the what comes out.
The build's different.
Yeah. So the one that they patched, the one that they have out there that's been submitted is one that's a working model of the game, but it also takes time for the process to happen. So in the meantime, they say they work on essentially squashing additional bugs that were probably not handled. What was it? Shipping with knowable problems or something like that, or whatever you said.
There's known issues. It'll say, "Oh, here is the final build for review," but there are a list of known issues we plan on fixing via a day one patch. Yeah. And so please do try to avoid addressing these issues.
They know the issues, and they have and that time frame allows them to sort of fix it. So it's a weird sort of aspect where it's like they know that they have this additional time, so they can kind of fix it later. Additional time. Yeah, go ahead.
That's where I had issues with The Division, the first one. That game was not ready when it came out.
Whoa, watch your talk. That's you can loosen the lips.
For all I know, that game's still booty juice.
Oh. No. It was not an issue. The issue
where you started. Look where you started.
We ran through that.
You said quick. Division.
You ran through. That's a hot top. There we go. Ringing the alarm. We got to stop. That's it. No, the issue with that was short. It was very short. A lot of things that they said were going to be in there were not there. And then they were like, "Oh, well, we weren't expecting everybody to run through it, right?" I think it was like 2 weeks, or maybe.
No, we did it faster than that.
It was fast, and
we blasted through that, man.
Yep, and what they promised was all this stuff for the end game. They're like, "Oh yeah, we got all the stuff coming for the end game," but they
raids weren't there either.
No. Well, the raids, that didn't even.
That was years after.
Yeah. But that's different. That's for when we got the later versions. But it was all the other add-ons that were supposed to be part of it. The end game stuff that's how they were referring to it, and they just didn't have it ready. And probably a week or so, because once it was done, a large majority of people were done with this, and they're like, "What's going on?" And they were like, we didn't expect people to run through this game this fast. Our bad." And then they kept trying to rush and spit things out, which is why, as when we went through and played the Division 2 to get the platinum, them. There's so much stuff
There's a
already
lot,
there.
yeah.
It's stuff is massive.
Yeah, Division 2 did have a lot, yeah.
Yeah, they threw so much because they learned from what happened with the first one where everybody fucking ran through it in a half an hour. They're like, oh no. So now it's just like, here, take that, go farm this, go get this, go do.
So with the Division, they just patched in the content. But with the Division 2, I remember remember we were playing Division 2. I think we were streaming it, and we passed by a street, and it was like a house, and it was like I think like 2 or 3 stories, and it was full of people, and then they shot the fuck out of us. I don't remember what place it was exactly, but I just remember we got wrecked.
Was it Were we in a dark zone?
No. It was. We were like just free roaming.
The raid. It's free roaming. Oh, I remember when we were all badass because we had high gear.
No, that raid.
We got pistol whipped. That was embarrassing because we were like, "Oh, we're good to go," and we couldn't even get past the first section on that first level. Remember, we were like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, that was ridiculous. But yeah, patch it later. That's just a thing that's here to stay, unfortunately. Yeah. So it's not about Game Pass, man. That's just how the industry is. And Adam said, sorry, we get that. Like, oh, don't talk about this, and that. We'll patch it later. And my thing is, and Adam, I don't know how you feel about it. I'm always like, okay, but what if that thing that I talk about is not there anymore on day one? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, come on,
yeah.
It's crazy.
It gets very tricky. Very tricky.
Yeah. All right, man, let's move on. Next question here. This one is from Nal, new question asker. So what's going on? He also followed us here on the Twitch, so shout out to you.
Yo man, Nal, you a Lunar Silver Star fan?
Maybe he is. I wonder if this question's controversial.
It's controversial.
Well, maybe Richard Bailey controversial or controversial.
I'm asking the question. I'm not sure. It might be. I'm not sure, but we'll see. All right. What new thing has Xbox brought to this generation? For example, Sony has made investments in revolutionizing its controller as well as pioneering the way SSDs can be used in game development. What has Xbox contributed other than prioritizing services or games as a service?
That's a tough one because unless you like, can we count xCloud? Because if we can count xCloud, I think that's the biggest one.
No, you can't really count that because was it Gaikai had that? Or that is pretty much just Gaikai?
On Live, yeah.
On Live
had it.
No.
On Live had it.
Well, I'm not saying it's the newest. Like they're the first at it, but they're the most successful at it. Like like they're bringing into the forefront a service for games, kind of like how we got Netflix. That we're streaming, and no one is doing it the way they are. There's a lot of people. PS Now exists, Luna exists, and also Stadia.
Stadia, yeah.
But Microsoft is the one that their infrastructure for xCloud and Game Pass is far beyond all of their competitors. That I think
Azure that they used on Enterprise, they've had that running for years, testing it and seeing how everything works, running applications off the web and stuff, off the cloud, I should say.
Mm-hmm. And I think just they might not be the first at doing an idea per se, but I think they are the first to succeed it with this amount of with this amount of expectations, and I think they're leading the way in terms of games as a service with xCloud and Gamecast.
You know what I think too, kind of on that end, one thing they're doing is backwards compatibility across everything, right? They have a specific name for it, I'm blanking on it, but basically if you buy Halo Infinite, it's going to work across multiple Xbox systems no matter what.
Anywhere.
Play anywhere. They definitely, that's something they brought to this gen, I believe, because like Sony had a version of, but it wasn't an exact version of it. Like, for example, you'll have one version of a game on Vita, one version of a game on PS3, but it was 2 separate games. This is one game that plays on everything. Right.
Yeah.
So
you don't have to double dip and buy it. Yeah.
Now's in the chat. He says, "But Game Pass is not bringing anything new to gaming. I'm talking about games themselves." So I guess this question is more specific.
Wait, but you said SSD, so we're talking about also hardware and services too, bro. Yeah. Because if you're talking about games, Sony's not doing anything new with gaming either.
Well,
not really.
If anything, they are bringing one new thing.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian. Brian, go ahead.
I was going to say, also, if you want to go down that route, then Sony didn't invent the SSD.
Yeah.
I was about to say, can we talk about this whole Sony revolutionized the SSD thing? Because I quite frankly don't second that statement.
I just let the statement just pass me because I'm like, it's one of those arguments.
They didn't do anything new. They just integrated SSD into their console. That's not revolutionary, man.
Yeah, and Xbox is doing it too. They have really fast load time, so that's not really. It's cool. Don't get me wrong, but it's not anything revolutionary.
It's a custom chipset, but it's always a custom chipset.
Yeah.
If you really do want to go down that route, because I actually have something that I think you can give Microsoft points for. Because with Microsoft internal storage, that's effectively just that is just a SSD chip in there, but it's not soldered to the motherboard, meaning that if your Xbox was like go defunct, let's say that the CPU like burns out or something and it just dies, Microsoft can essentially just take that SSD, which has all the internal stuff, take it out, put it in a new Xbox, and send you that, and job done. Whereas on the Sony side, if the chip goes out, all that is pretty much on the SSD, and I don't know if Sony are willing to say, hey, we'll copy over all your data to a new platform and send it to you. So you could argue that by having the internal storage be removable, that is something positive for the gamers, and that's as much as I have on that, really.
Yeah.
Can I mention something real quick?
Sure.
Oh, go ahead, Adam. You're talking about
just creating a service where you're putting your first party titles day one on. It's unheard of.
Yeah,
when it comes
you're
to this
right.
level. We don't have that. It's always been like, oh well, we can get third parties. There's been a bunch of services that have had maybe they may have one small studio. Well, we made some indie game deals, exclusive times, but to say your entire collection day one is going to be on there for life, that's a big deal.
So now says what I'm trying to bring to the conversation is what are the platforms actually doing to further games themselves? LOL, you guys are missing the question.
You said SSDs, bro. You opened it up. You opened the door right there.
So are you talking about? So now to ask you a question, are you talking about just gameplay? Is that the only thing, like gameplay in a game?
I'm glad you're here so you can clarify this.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it. The service side and the hardware side, but if you're talking about an SSD, the SSD in the PlayStation 5 allows for the Ratchet and Clank load times to go traverse through different worlds and no loading times. Is that
But then that's not really Sony's doing per se.
Yeah, exactly.
Again,
SSD just being fast has been done for years on PC.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but can't Xbox Series X do the same shit? Can it? Don't they have a really fast? Yeah. So
I got to say something. So me and Tony have been going through the Halo franchise.
Yes.
And Tony, remember Halo 4?
Yeah.
There's these black circles where you can teleport from one place to another.
Yeah.
In an instant.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was super fast, and that was back in the day, And
I was back. Yeah, I was. Yeah. I gotta give them credit because I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, fast travel when games started coming out with fast travel points, I was like, this is great.
Or and with the Ghost of Tsushima, where they in the last generation they were literally had fast load times that they said that they had to slow down so that people could read the little tutorials between the levels.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think gameplay wise, I don't know. I guess the Ratchet and Clank is probably the closest you can get. Although a part of that kind of has already been done. I don't know. I can't really think of anything really on both sides that have.
Yeah, they really haven't done much. I know you brought up the controller. Don't get me wrong. I've said the DualSense controller is probably like the best control out there, but it's not really doing anything new. It's just doing haptics better than other controllers have done haptics. Haptics aren't new. Vibration, rumble, that's not new either. The way they're doing it is very cool, don't get me wrong, but it's not new or innovative. It doesn't really affect your game. You could turn all that shit, like Brian always says, if you could turn that shit off, it's not really important,
Yeah, you can turn it off and still play the same game.
Yeah.
In fact,
to be honest,
Duty, you have to turn it off if you're playing multiplayer because it slows you down. Pulling the triggers and stuff, it just causes a hindrance.
Yeah. So to be honest, neither of them are really doing anything that innovative. Neither of them. We just have faster load times. That's it. That's cool. Don't get me wrong, but it's like most games in general are just doing the same things they've been doing for the last 20 years. Nobody really innovates unless you're doing indie games, So, neither of them are really doing anything, man.
I think a lot of times when A lot of people like to say that when it comes to innovation, there usually, happens with money and stuff like that. But sometimes when you have those situations where you have so much riding on it, there's not a lot of innovation. There, a lot of times they're just sort of looking to hit a certain button over and over and over again to get people to keep buying.
Yeah.
They'll keep rolling them out on the assembly line until it doesn't work anymore. So I feel like a lot of these innovations are just marginal improvements over things that have already existed.
Yeah, exactly. So they're not really doing anything new, Yo, Blitz, man, you saying that statement is gonna make me keep this conversation going for 20 more minutes, bro. He's like, look, this isn't going anywhere. I actually agree with you, but
no, it's not. It's not really going anywhere.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Oh yeah, we should mention quick resume. That's pretty fucking cool. Sony doesn't have that.
Yeah, they don't. They don't have quick resume.
Yeah.
I don't know if Nala will accept that one.
Yeah, he probably won't because it has to be a gameplay change. But
it's a gameplay
hardware-wise, or at least feature-wise, Xbox is doing more than the PlayStation 5 is. Feature-wise,
I'm still surprised that Xbox doesn't support the share play aspect. I loved using that on the PlayStation. And it's still, is that an exclusive feature from Sony? Did they, I mean, it's not, you could do it on PC, so it's not like they have a patent on it.
Yeah.
But man, the fact that you can go and share and watch somebody jump in, play with them, or just play as them, it's amazing that still hasn't come over. So,
Now said, for example, the DualSense has implemented a controller that emotes sound and haptics, and I'm thinking, well,
we did that.
But the Wii did that. But not only that, but I mean, you can Xbox implemented Xbox Play Anywhere in xCloud, so you can play the game at the subway station. You'll have some sensations there while playing the game.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, man, it's kind of hard because they're just really just going through the same path and adding like these, the faster SSD thing, we've been progressing that way anyways. We were loading things off. Well, first off, we kind of didn't have load times back in the day because they were all from cartridges.
Yeah.
But then we went to CDs, DVDs, and it's like the shit just got slow, and then we went to hard drives, and then we had to go back into the whole solid state kind of thing, and then it's weird how it works.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. All right, man. Who said that doesn't change gaming? I don't know. Gaming hasn't really changed, bro. These things don't really change anything.
Yeah,
they're cool. They're cool gimmicks. Don't get me wrong. Like when you're playing Astro's Playroom, you hear this shit, you feel it. It's dope. Don't get me wrong, but it's just. Right now, it's just a cool little add-on gimmick. It's not really revolutionary,
A lot of this is reconfigured shit of stuff that have already existed. We had haptic feedback on the Steam controller. We had speakers in our controller since the Wii.
Yeah.
So what are we? It's just
you had a headphone jack on the 3DO.
You had a headphone jack on the controller back on the 3DO.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like all of these things are all reconfigured ideas that have already existed from before. Sony having a headphone jack in the controller.
I got one.
Xbox, having an overlay over your games. That's been done on Steam in fucking decades.
I don't know if it doesn't matter if you'll accept it or not, but Xbox does a variable refresh rate.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
they do variable refresh rate.
And they got they got Dolby too. That's another thing.
Is that revolution? Here's the thing. Like, I suspect, I surmise that there will never really be any sort of ultimate game changing advancement in games beyond just because all of these things are just sort of are just reiterations of what is before. What is the PlayStation controller? It's a friggin' Super Nintendo controller.
That's right, it is. Every controller is just a better version of that. No, you're 100% right about that. We actually do have a question about that, about how has gaming plateaued. We'll get into that, but I think it kind of has. All right, moving on here. We have another question from Mr. Nal. Shout out to you, brother, for joining us. We like it when you guys are here. Not only did you ask the question, but you're actually there in the chat to maybe correct us if we're doing anything wrong. Yeah,
exactly.
It's awesome. I love it. All right, next question. This one's a little bit more complicated. We got to think about this one. All right.
Uh-oh.
Okay, what do you think about services like PS Now and Game Pass? What are their prominent roles to their respective platforms, and how does that affect one, game availability, two, the perceived value of games, and three, the overall quality of games on the service? So we could tackle these one at a time.
We talked all about this already.
Yeah, that's pretty deep, but it's still pretty deep though. Like
yeah.
there's just so many layers within these kinds of things.
Yo, man, it's an inception of a question, man.
It's an inception of an onion.
Yeah,
it's to prove the point that this can be done. That we've seen it done with movies, like Netflix led the way, and then now we got all these services. They're all jumping aboard, and Microsoft wants to be the first, so they're really bringing in. I know a lot of people say PS Now, but we're still talking about the whole idea of playing all the high-end games, day one releases, whether on your console or on any other device that you have on the go. You don't need anything proprietary to make those games run. So that's the biggest change right here. And if it continues on, I'm sure we'll see others jump into that market. We'll see an upgraded version of PlayStation Now 2.0 or something.
Okay, so let's break this down piece by piece here. Okay, so what is the prominent role of Xbox Game Pass on Xbox?
I think that's the future. It's gonna replace the box.
Yeah, it's gonna be just an app.
You're saying to have it on if you have an Xbox and Game Pass having it on. I mean, it's just save money. You don't have to spend all that money. If let's say you have a kid, you have a bunch of kids, and everybody wants a game, and if you have siblings, that's a thing. There's always gonna be, I don't want to play that. I want this one. So what happens for the holidays? You got to shell out $60 for each game. You got to buy more. But if these games are all hopefully on this Game Pass system, and that's $14.99 a month, everybody's happy. It's a win-win, and you didn't have to shell out money, and you didn't have to hear little Timmy say, "Wow, I thought this game was going to be better. I'm not playing this shit no more." Like,
imagine our old asses with fucking Game Pass when we were kids.
Oh, we'd be going.
Imagine. To be honest, if our parents saw that you could get this thing for a little bit of money per month,
we would have never owned the game.
We would have never really owned the game.
No,
I had it. It's called the Sega Channel.
Yeah, my man.
There was still
exactly. See what we mean about things that have already existed.
Yeah, Game Pass ain't new. Ain't do nothing.
Even
new.
Game Pass isn't even a new idea. It's just essentially an extension of something that had already existed. If Sega Channel had ever at any point, if it really was able, if they were able to get it to almost every single person on this planet, you think that we would be talking about anything Game Pass related?
Shit, man, I remember I must have been like 9 or 10. This is sometime in the 80s. And I went on a trip. There was Texas somewhere to visit our uncle that lived out there. I just remember being in a hotel and there was a TV and then there was a Nintendo there. And I'm like, what is this? Like, oh, we rent this. You can rent the Nintendo and it like plugs in and there's games that come up on the screen as part of the cable service. It was so weird. And I was like, shit, I've never seen that. It's sort of like when you go on a plane and sometimes you'll see like day one releases at the time, in theaters. They did that for games and that was in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so none of this stuff is new.
In a hotel, yeah.
Yeah, so how do these services affect game availability? So let's tackle that one first. So yeah, it's great because like think about it, with both of them, either of them, whatever, you can get a ton of games at your disposal for whatever they cost a month. That's pretty good, It also helps with great game preservation, like something we always talk about on here, that this industry does a terrible job of preserving their games. So definitely does that. You can't play those PS3 games anymore, but they're available right there. Not all of them, obviously, but a good chunk of them are on PS Now, which is always a good thing. Xbox, you have all their games available, so these services definitely help with game availability, And if you're on a budget, they definitely help. Or, in a budget, you're a kid or whatever, they're perfect for those people.
I think it does partially for what game availability, but I also think that it also makes the gaming also way more disposable than I feel.
Well, that's the second part, the perceived value of games. So you feel it makes them disposable, right?
It makes them more disposable. How many things on Netflix do people not watch? How many things do people just roll right through them? I feel like in general, and with look at what the music industry has done these days. It's not lucrative at all. Like Spotify is great for us, the consumer, but for the actual musicians or the artists that actually work on these, it's horrible. Patti LaBelle actually, boiled this down not long ago to tell you how much money she makes off of this shit, and she
Wow.
ain't making nothing. But how many things of her songs have been downloaded, and she's not seeing that money. So I feel like, yes, okay, we're gonna have companies like Microsoft and Netflix and investing in these big wonderful titles, but at the same time, what about all the other guys? What about you know it's just going to be like chopped liver. You're just going to be like, okay, you're a peg warmer. Nobody cares about your game, but we got it because we're the superstar.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my issue with it, and we cannot go back from that world.
No.
Once we've already opened that door to where essentially games just keep popping up every month. That means that people are okay with games just disappearing because of and we've already seen this.
Well, that was the whole thing. Even when MP3s, remember that whole thing when that came about? It was like, what the hell? It's like they're ripping in. They can get these small sizes, and yeah, it's not the best quality, but people didn't give a shit. They just wanted it.
Yeah, I feel like once the store is opened, it can't be closed. We can't go back from it, and who knows? Maybe it won't even be good to be making video games anymore because it's so damn disposable, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole thing with AAA titles.
And the fact, okay, yeah, it does good for preservation, but what about those companies that went out of business and nobody knows who owns the fucking title anymore?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
What about those games?
There's a lot of games.
There's a lot of games right now. Currently, for PC games, we have a huge problem with preservation. So many titles, so many studios have totally just gone defunct, but they can't offer these games to people because nobody knows who owns them anymore.
Yeah. But don't you think it's better to at least have some of these services to salvage at least a little bit of these games? You know what I'm saying?
But again, it's how is it? You're not saving it. It just shows up one day and then it just disappears.
It could,
Is it really owning anything?
No, it's not. You're not. Let's just get that clear.
No,
you're not owning.
I'm
talking about just
anything,
saving. Like, I'm just talking about preserving the game just so people actually access it. That's what I mean.
I mean, yes.
This has nothing to do with owning. You don't own any of this stuff.
But I mean, like, when you look at like something like Steam, I mean, Steam seems to be doing a lot more for preservation than these console companies do.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I think it's also going with, for example, PS Now. That service serves a purpose because it's doing a decent job at preserving its library, at least the Sony part of it. Because there's a lot of those titles, and it's like, not everyone can just go back and use their old console and buy an old game to play it. That sometimes we need these services to preserve them because, who's gonna bust out? I have two PS3s, and I rather play those games on PS Now because I don't want to play Metal Gear Solid 4 and on my dusted vacuum cleaner sounding PS3 fat. So
make sure that your boy over at Sony who's over here telling everybody, oh, no one plays.
Oh, Jim Ryan, yeah.
We gotta let him know this shit. It's so dumb. It's like, come on now.
I rather degrade the PS3s that are in the data centers and for Sony.
It's like saying nobody watches old movies. People love classics. People love their movies.
Jim Ryan was just talking trash, bro. All right, so
I think he's just looking more at the number side of it. I think once things have sort of the thing about like when it comes to
that specific segment was after he saw the first Gran Turismo run. He's like, why would anybody want to play that? That's terrible looking.
Yeah, but again, a guy who's worked in the industry but who doesn't really know how the industry really works.
Yeah, it's silly. And then the last part of it, this one says, right, how does this affect the overall quality of games on the service? Because one of the perceptions is that Xbox Game Pass games do not need to be of good quality because they're cheap. I don't know how real that is, but that's the perception.
I don't see their games as cheap. They're going to be, Xbox, at least their first party titles they're going to spend some serious money. Netflix doesn't just half-ass a movie or half-ass a show when they put serious money on it. They're getting guys like Ryan Reynolds to show up and Dave Bautista. So they're still putting money in these things.
Yeah, they want to make it like what HBO. When the whole thing with HBO, whenever you heard there was a new series or something, probably like, oh, it's got to be quality because it's a paid service. People are paying for it. So you want quality on it so people feel like getting their bang for their buck. Same thing.
The one thing I do have to say about Game Pass, and this is coming from a person who's worked and done for stuff for video games, is that it does allow for the space for smaller developers to sort of get in, where the Microsoft will be a little bit less as picky as to what things will they look at it like. Hey, this looks interesting. We'll invest in it, just to sort of fill in their library of things to put on their service. So you'll find a little bit, and that's the same thing that goes on with Netflix. There's something that would totally be pushed aside by the main studios. Netflix would be like, all right, come over here.
Yeah, but that Carlos, you'll go next. But that's why people are saying, oh, since the barrier of entry is lower on Xbox, that means there's a greater chance for less quality games.
I got a platinum in a game called My Name Is Mayo.
That game was
on PlayStation. Yeah. Remember for 99
cents.
Oh,
Adam, you just gave me a perfect segue. PlayStation has Life of Black Tiger on it, so
come on now.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's everywhere.
Yeah. Go ahead, Carlos. What's up?
Well, it's I think that narrative against Game Pass is kind of bogus, because what people have to take into account is developers and publishers and all these studios, they're gonna make games that they think are gonna make them the most money, whether that's a shitty game, whether that's a super quality game, or anything in between. They're gonna if they think Fortnite is like a Fortnite clone is gonna make them the most money, that's what they're gonna do. If it just depends. It depends on whether they think the value of the game is going to make them the most money. Really, quality is something that we need to perceive, and we need to keep developers in check. Like I told Adam earlier, it's like he's like, oh yeah, that maybe that game, it's not going to come with a few features, but it'll come later. It's on Game Pass. It's free. And I'm like, for me, I'm like, I don't like using that excuse for games not having features that they're supposed to. But that's us keeping the developers in check. I don't think that the fact that the game is on Game Pass, that the developers are like thinking, oh, we can do this. Let's just let this wait. I don't think they actually do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. All right, man. Let's move on.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one, man. Thanks for that. Oh boy, here we go.
Uh-oh.
Is it time?
Yes, it's time. And Brett, get ready, man. Yeah. Damien.
Uh-oh.
Damien is back. So before he only has one question for us today, but he has a statement to make. So I'm gonna read it. All right. I'm here looking at all you Sony fans crying about Halo Infinite, a game all of you have shitted on or said has franchise fatigue. Now talk about what should be in it at launch. I know things are very dry on the Sony side, so all you can do is talk about Xbox. Let's address that one. All right, bro. So, Damien, who has shitted on Halo, the franchise, on this podcast, man? The worst we've said, like we said earlier, that it has some fatigue, and it's not really because the games are getting like the way Brett said, it's really about the creativity is in there like it used to be, but like with the exception of Manny, all of us have played it, so I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And Manny's never said anything bad about it.
No, I mean, to be honest, Halo is not a game that I would specifically play, but that doesn't mean I don't have respect for it, and I don't think that the lore and everything is very intriguing. But at the same time, I'm not a first-person shooter fan, so I'm not going to dive into it, am I?
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to get to the second part, and then Brett, you can go off. He goes, I don't have any Halo questions because there are persons on this panel who have never owned an Xbox or played Halo and always have negative stuff to say about the franchise and try to pass off their opinion as gospel. Now that I said that, I'll try to see if I can come up with
So is he talking about me?
I guess, but you're the only one, and you've never said anything bad about it.
No, I don't. I have not. I mean, come on. Who always sings the song? With Carlos.
Who hasn't played Halo? How many times has Brett come on here to talk about how revolutionary the dual stick was and shit? Like, we praised the franchise. I remember we were asked a long time ago, like, is Halo like? Actually, I think Tumek asked us this question. It's like, does Halo deserve all the accolades it's gotten? And we're like, absolutely, it does.
Yes, it does.
Absolutely.
I mean, come on. The game literally. I mean, people say it's what was it? GoldenEye that revolutionized the
No,
first
no, no.
person
It
shooter.
was Halo.
I mean, that was
Yeah.
that was the
It was
first
a good
step.
step.
But
It
no,
was a good
Halo
step,
was
yeah.
the one that literally how many games jumped off of that? Like now, Call of Duty games were all about that. That all has to do with the Halo.
Yeah,
essentially
Halo
proving
made FPS viable on consoles.
consoles.
Yes, GoldenEye all day, every day, but that thing was still clunky as hell. Halo was smooth as shit. So
they proved they can be done.
yeah, like yes, Halo has definitely got fallen off the cliff in recent years, but you can never take away with those first 3 games. That you cannot ever. So I don't understand what you're talking about, Damien. Actually, I know exactly what's going on, because Damien hears all this nonsense from all these PlayStation fanboys, and then he puts it on us like we're saying that shit. Like we haven't been criticizing PlayStation for a year and a half. Because of the bungled launch of the PlayStation 5 and not having any games. We've been criticizing Sony like crazy here, to the fact that we've lost some subscribers because they're we're not preaching to the choir here.
We said that PS Now doesn't stand a chance against Game Pass.
Yeah.
And people got mad at us.
Yeah, they got mad at us, and I still stand by that statement.
They want everybody to kiss fucking ass. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Call it like it is.
The only person that was, at least after the Halo Infinite news, the only person in this panel that was talking about it on Twitter and was negative about it it was me.
Yeah.
And I said it should have been delayed. And Damien, I just want to let you know, man.
Oh.
I think I put in more hours into Halo 2 than you have in your whole Halo franchise card, man. So I don't want you to say bust out because he's being trying to be subliminal, and I'm like, who is he talking about?
Yeah.
Like just say who you're. We're all grown men. You can say
it's obviously me.
Yeah.
I totally hate the Halo.
How about next time just call us by name, bro, please?
Yeah, because I'm like, is he talking about me? Probably not. I played all the Halos. I bought all the Xbox. I own at least 2 Xboxes of each generation, except for this generation, and I'll probably get another Xbox Series X.
I mean, you talk about Carlos lived and breathed Halo. He was totally Xbox for years.
Yeah.
Adam is just chomping at the bit to be Xbox.
Waiting for Xbox to come back.
He's waiting for Xbox to do some shit.
That Steam Deck is going to actually bring me back to that world, and that's
so Adam
Chris,
is like
Chris
all about
360. That was all
Chris
him.
is all about that 360.
Most of the Halos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to be honest,
Brian's played the Halos.
Yeah. Back in the day, when it was just me, Adam, and Chris, and Tony. Back in the day, it was mostly Xbox in the rooms.
Yeah.
Me and Tony were the only holdouts.
Only PlayStation guys. Yeah, that's right. So
yeah, Damien, Halo doesn't belong to you, man.
Oh.
It belongs to everyone that wants to talk about it, especially those that supported it. And I've supported Halo plentiful throughout my life. So I don't know, say names, be specific, or just if you don't want to get this blowback, then just don't say anything.
I think the thing about it is I don't think he likes it when there's something
Brett, you'll go next, man.
That's said about his baby. Listen, Damien, you got to realize there's no black and white in any sort of situation. If you do think it's that way, then you're.
Man, I got to correct you. No. There's no blue and green in any situation.
There's no there's no black and white in these situations. You got to be able to see the faults in the things that you love. That means that you truly love it. Either that, or you're just blindly accepting every single thing that they give you, and that is the wrong way to go.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, now I'll answer your question in a bit, but Brett, go ahead, man. Damien's comments. I know you and I were talking about this even off air.
I mean, I've got to say this based on the discussion. Is Damien younger than us?
No, he's
married.
He's our age, man. He's our age.
No, I know he's roughly our age.
Yeah.
I just thought he was a few years younger than us.
No. Like that.
Yo, man, I don't even know. Do you think that I'm a pony, or do you just forget that I'm on the show?
Yeah. Yo, by the way, real quick, Brett, I'll let you go. Hey, in the chat, do you think Brett is a pony? The same guys who always get mad at you, Brett. I want to see what these guys have to say. Anyway, go on.
I'd like to hear
an unboxing of a Series X on the show.
Right?
Yeah. We Brett unboxed an Xbox for you. He praises Xbox every week. very critical of Sony, fairly critical, very critical of Sony. Apparently, you don't hear any of these things, Damien.
No. Yeah, I don't know, man. I criticize them all the time, but also, I'm kind of with Carlos here. Like, yo, man, I understand that you hear shit talking on your baby and you kind of start just throwing elbows everywhere. But here's the real deal of the whole thing. I have been a fan of Xbox since the day it fucking launched, man. I was a fan of its predecessor, Dreamcast. Yeah. I bought those systems in fucking spades, man. I am the one that bought Halo, and I'm the one that brought it to my friend's house. I'm the one that got everybody hooked, and I'm the one that hosted the fucking tournaments, man. Back when I don't even know that you were playing, but I'll tell you this, even if you were, you were playing before me because there was no fucking before me, man. I helped this shit get off the ground. I helped launch it. Carlos and I are partially responsible for the success of Halo to fucking begin with, man.
I went to LAN parties before I was a grown man.
Yeah, see, like, we used to hulk around our fucking 12-pound Xboxes from house to house so that we could hook those things up and play with our friends. Like, we are the reason that Halo exists. How dare you come at us like we don't fucking care? If anything, I'm a little mad that 343 isn't doing the magic that Bungie did, which makes me a fucking purist. So you tell me who's the real goddamn fan here.
I'm
not just willing to accept everything that has a Halo face and Master Chief in it as being true, legitimate Halo. I want Bungie quality Halo. And I don't think that is anything that I shouldn't be able to fucking ask for after helping bring up that fucking game into popularity and praising it for over a fucking decade and a half or however long it's been. I'm allowed to criticize. That's the whole thing. I've been paying them money. I've been giving them all the fucking cash, and I've been trying all of these games. If I'm not allowed to be critical, then nobody's allowed to be critical. That means your fans aren't allowed to be critical. And you know what? That's how you get a shitty fucking company. That's how you get shitty fucking games.
Yeah, because no one bitch about it and they just accepts it.
That's what happens, yeah.
And the people that don't bitch about it, they're not fucking fans. The ones that just roll over and let the new shit happen and the quality drop and the name of a revolutionary franchise be besmirched and dragged through the mud.
Damien, you know what you are? You're those motherfuckers who only just support the basketball teams and not the players. When all the players are all gone, you're still raising your hand up like they're the bee's knees, even though all the people that fucking mattered are gone. That's what you are.
The coach and everybody like, oh, you're supposed to still love them. Like,
they got rid of the center, they got rid of the whole ass team, and you're still sitting there, woo!
Let's go Clippers.
You're the guy that wears the band shirt but can't name any members.
Oh, shit. Oh, man. Anyway, let's not rag on Damien anymore, man.
No, I mean, it's not even ragging on Damien. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm going to take this moment to pop my fucking collar. I'm old school. We're all old school. We're the reason this shit is here. Us and people like us, obviously. But yeah, like, there aren't any people that buy more fucking Xboxes than us. There aren't any people that bought more fucking copies of Halo than us. They don't let me turn on the light. Tell me people who bought more copies of GTA than this fucking panel right here. We should have just bought a pallet of it and saved fucking money.
This is true. This is true. There you go. That's the Xbox. You see it right there, man. Next to the Bibaporu, you know. All right, good stuff there. We'll answer Damien's actual question a bit, but I gotta respond to a comment here aimed at me. Nal, he goes, Tony, why do you think that PS Now can never compete with Game Pass? I disagree. I believe that if Sony wanted to, they could beat Game Pass. I never said they'll never do it. I said in the current state that things are in, Xbox Game Pass is better than PS Now. Can PS Now make it better? Absolutely. And I'll even say if PlayStation makes PS Now comparable to Xbox, games on day one, huge library, it'll murder Game Pass easily.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the current state of things, not what it could be that it never can. That's a stupid statement to say, bro. I would never say that. PlayStation can actually do it, and they have, and I've said this before, they have the tools in place, right? They got they have PS Now, they have PlayStation Plus. Combine all that shit into one, and you will murder. I'm telling you, man.
Here's the thing.
Yo, Carlos, bring out that Duke. Let's go.
Here's the thing. PlayStation has had this service, this streaming service since how many years in the PlayStation 4? They initially announced this thing with the PlayStation 4 that this PlayStation Now would be a thing, or
Wasn't PlayStation Now announced with the PS3?
No, it was
Yeah.
it was during the 4 because they
After
used it
the
as
Gaikai
Okay.
purchase, sort of.
yeah, it was after the Gaikai card purchase. So this was like up in the forefront of when they were initially, because this was their backward compatibility solution.
Yeah.
Remember? So they've had this thing for so damn long, and it's taking them over 10 years in order to even get it to this point. And it's not even, they were already sitting in the seat, and already Microsoft just jumped in and said, "All right, get excited."
Yeah,
We got
PS4. Yeah.
shit.
No, you're right about that. Yeah, I agree 100%. Sony is never going to do day and day. They will never do that. I'm just saying, if since we're doing hypotheticals here, if forget about it, bro. Even they don't even need day and day to make this PS Now awesome. Just combine it with fucking PS Now, man.
Yeah, PlayStation Plus. Yeah,
PlayStation Plus. PlayStation Plus. Yeah.
That is the first thing. Like, how do you like? The thing is that the biggest process of all of this is how complicated it is. Number one, when you get your Game Pass service, right? Was it Games Gold, right? Whatever their biggest things is. It's only one pay through. You get all of the Xbox.
Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Yeah.
Yeah, you get that ultimate version. You get everything. Now, why isn't there something like that for PlayStation?
Yeah, it's all.
Why is it that you need to pay for PlayStation Plus and pay for PlayStation Now, two totally separate things?
Yeah,
that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah. Again, we criticize it because we want them to combine it because we think it would be awesome.
At least, come on, guys. At least if you have this service and to get people to in it, to go into the next level, why aren't you with PlayStation Plus currently? Why aren't you at least getting a few PlayStation Now games with that? You can't do that. You can't say, okay, with PlayStation Now you get a PlayStation Plus, you get 2 games from PlayStation Plus from PlayStation Now every month, or 3 or 4, something like that. You can't do that.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Get people that get that into people's minds. Okay, the PlayStation Now. Oh wow, I can play these 3 games on here. Additionally, every month with all my other.
Actually, if you have PlayStation Now, you have access to 800 games streaming. It's like, dude.
Yeah, like wait, yeah, like what give people incentive to be able to strengthen this service. But like with a lot of things with Sony, it's a toe dip. This is a toe dip. This is just like the PlayStation Move. This is a Vita. This is a toe dip. This is not a commitment. What Microsoft is doing is a commitment to this service.
Yeah. By the way, he says both PS Plus and PS Now combined are cheaper than Game Pass. We don't disagree with that, but it shouldn't be 2 separate fucking things. You got to make it simple for people.
It shouldn't be 2 separate things.
Yeah.
Number one. Remember, simplicity is key.
Yes.
And that is the purest thing throughout everything. When you start,
the reason why Xbox merged everything.
Why do you think they did that? Because they want it to be as easy as possible. You don't want to need to go jumping through hoops. Or if you have this version of this, you see this already happening now with the upgrades to the fucking games.
Yeah.
This is the dumbest shit ever. Why isn't this shit simple? That's the thing. Make it simple. Make it easy. When you get PlayStation Plus, you get PlayStation Now. That's the shit.
Yeah, no,
exactly.
All right, man. Let's move on here because, by the way, we may have to do a little bit of a lightning round later on because we got a lot of questions. What's up, Brian?
I have a few things to add. In regards to the dates, Game Pass. PS Now launched in the US in September 2014 on the PS3.
Oh, PS3? Oh.
Yeah, it launched on PS3.
That's why there you go.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Tony.
Yep. And one of the other things I found, which I think is fascinating, as of March 2021, it has 3.2 million users.
How many?
3.2 million.
Damn. Whoa.
There you go.
Ooh, that's not good, dude. That's
and
pretty
then the
terrible.
And then the other thing that kind of like hurt me really badly is only in April of this year that they announced support for 1080p streaming of games. So this whole time, it's been 720p.
They need to fix that shit, man.
That's bad.
That's bad, dude.
You see what I mean, guys. You see what I mean about this being a toe dip and not a real commitment.
Yeah.
If Sony was really committed to making this service work, they would have 1080 a long time ago. They would have look, come on, and then the other thing is like, can you on Xbox Game Pass, are they streaming that stuff in 4K?
I don't think so.
Are they?
No,
I'm not sure. I don't think
know.
so.
I don't have the service.
I don't think so. I don't think so. But
Yeah,
at least you got
let me see.
1080p. You do get that.
At least you get 1080p.
I think the Stadia even has 1080p, right?
Yeah,
Tony?
1080. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I can confirm
So
that.
I mean, again, like
That's
we,
John Christ.
4K coming
like-
soon. Shout out to
yeah.
John
So
Christ.
come on, so come on, guys. You got like, it can be there. It can be totally in that direction, but it involves Sony making a
just
commitment to
1080p.
it.
Check this out. Just think about it like this: PS Now is going to be a better service in the future because Game Pass exists.
That's right.
Whether
Yeah.
Game Pass or PS Now is better in the end is yet to be seen. But at least we can all appreciate what Game Pass is doing right now, and what PS Now should strive to be in the future.
Agreed.
Always good
if-
to have
if any-
competition. It's
if
always
anything-
good to have competition.
If anything, this shows Sony seeing the success that Microsoft seems to be happening. This will show Sony, okay, maybe we need to start thinking about the streaming service / whatever service that we're giving, and maybe we need to start being a little bit more competitive with this side of things. But here's the thing. I mean, I just have to say this one thing about PlayStation Now. It's lasted for this long.
It has. It's still in there.
I mean, it's like it outlasted a lot of their other toe dips, right?
It's
Last
placed
of the Vita.
the Vita did last for a while.
Yeah,
It just died last year probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it
it's
really
still going.
did.
That's what I'm saying. It's still going. It's definitely. They didn't hint that they're getting rid of Game Pass, so it's definitely not.
No, well, yeah, PS Now is going to be here for the long run. Yeah, but yeah, I think I agree with Manny. They're still just dipping their toes. They bought Gaikai, they released PS Now, and they're seeing what they can do. I don't think if Game Pass wasn't a thing, I think PS Now would have been close to dead.
Also, let me add that PlayStation Now is not only a service; it's actually a separate subsidiary of PlayStation. So, which means it also sort of gives them an out on it. Which means if this service didn't work, they could literally just close down the company and just be done with it. The big difference is that Microsoft, Xbox, Xbox themselves is in control of their own that specific service. Game Pass is not its own company. It's it's a service within their own company. Whereas PlayStation Now is essentially Gaikai with the PlayStation name on top of it.
Yeah.
Which means that they probably need to do there's maybe some internal work that's causing specific things to not happen. Maybe that's the reason why we're not seeing a combination of the two things.
It might be more independent in a way, but I still think, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure Jim Ryan is still the head of whatever. He's the boss's boss of PS Now. Anything PlayStation, it's Jim Ryan's to control, and Jim Ryan's to manipulate.
Yeah. Oh man. All right, move on because again we got to look at a lot of questions here. But Damien's actual question is does this I love how he says this panel. Does this panel think gaming has hit its high mark? We are no longer seeing any new ideas or anything revolutionary. All Sony games seem to be the same, just with different characters. Xbox has FPS racers and cover-based shooters, and Nintendo is platformers and Pokemon. He's not actually wrong about this.
No, he's not actually wrong about it. But I mean, one of the things about like anything, just like with movies, if there's a formula that works, they're going to continue to keep rolling with it as long as possible. People, if people like action movies, they're going to keep making action movies, and I feel like the gaming space is that sort of idea too, where it's like, everybody's going to keep making action movies and horror movies and all kinds of other things, those same sort of ideas over and over and over again until they don't work anymore, and that it is the indie space that sort of experiments. And that is the same way in film. You see more unique ideas in a space where you don't have a lot to deal to play with.
Yeah. I think we have hit a plateau.
By the way, I think we should rephrase it. it's more like not just technological plateau, although we are there. I think the question is more how we hit a creative plateau. Yeah, we have,
I think so. Creative plateau, yeah,
for sure. I think everything that Damien said in his question, I agree with.
I agree.
It's there's still some stuff that falls in the cracks. That's pretty awesome. That's great. But even like games like Ghost of Tsushima, Red Dead Redemption 2, they're not really doing anything new. They're just really great and amazing of what they do. So, for me, I always think about this kind of stuff because I don't enjoy gaming as much as I used to, and I'm wondering if that's because I'm getting older, or if that's because, is it something, is it me, or is it gaming, and I don't know. Maybe it could be both. It could be both. It could be both.
Yeah, it's a combination.
But I don't think you could just dismiss the fact that games are just not. Again, we should make the emphasis AAA games. Because indie games are obviously doing a bunch of crazy shit. We shouldn't dismiss that, But even with the indie space, though, you see a lot of the same ideas, So because you're right, it's like once you hit something that people will buy, you keep going at it,
Look at the battle royales.
Battle royales, all that stuff. Even with indie space, how many of these like 2D kind of pixel art games did we see? A slew of them. And now the big thing seems to be like isometric type of shooters and stuff. So even within indie, there's still some homogenization going on. But yeah, Carlos, I think about that often too, man. It's like is it me? But then again, you have those moments like. I've been kind of feeling kind of down on gaming over the summer. And I play Ghost of Tsushima. I'm feeling happy as fuck. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh man, this is what gaming's about right now. I was playing a little bit of Streets of Rage 4 earlier, and I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about right now. So it's still there. It's just but I think
it's few and far in between.
Yeah, it is. It really is, man. And this generation, Carlos, man, remember how much you dogged on last gen at the beginning of it? That gen makes this gen look better in comparison, doesn't it?
For me, they're at a deadlock.
Oh wow, yeah, they're equally bad.
Yeah, because last gen didn't have a Ratchet and Clank this soon.
Yeah, that is true.
I think the first game last generation that I think we're super hyped for was it Bloodborne maybe? Yeah. I think that was the first like hype game. I didn't really enjoy most of the games in between. I think they're at a deadlock and not looking good, man. But there are
go ahead.
There are games like Monster Hunter World. I love that fucking game, man. I fucking love that game. I want a Monster Hunter World 2, and I'll play that forever.
Yeah. Blitz, I want you to expand on what you said here. He goes, for a hobby that is meant to be fun, there is a lot of negativity which impacts people's attitudes, whether they know it or not. I want you to expand on that. I want to know what you mean. I think I know what you mean. I think you're talking about the fanboys and the gaming community. That is a factor, too. I do think that's important to bring up. I've not been very happy with the gaming community as of late. I think both sides have just been, all three sides, let's just be real here, just vicious lately, man, for no reason. It's not good.
It's just so you don't see that in a lot of other areas. You don't see that in movies. Like, I only watch movies from DreamWorks and blah, 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 blah. It's like, what I mean? It's like, come on now. It's like, if you like gaming and you like games, it shouldn't matter what platform. If it's a game you really want to play, then get the damn platform if it's proprietary and then fucking play this shit. Why do you need to hate on others for doing it? Or criticizing like, oh well, it sucks that one is not on everything else. I was like, oh fuck, I'm sorry, but you know what? They're all out there. It's still accessible to you if you really want to play it. It's not like you have to show some special credentials to play this shit. So I don't understand why people get bitchy about why are you playing that? You shouldn't be doing that. Why are you enjoying these things? It was like, because I have one life and I want to enjoy everything I can. And if it's something I want to play, I'm gonna fucking play it. I don't care what system it's on. I own the Ouya and I play shit on my fucking Ouya. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. He said that gaming. Oh, he goes, I think people get down about games because it's just a constant struggle to enjoy what you enjoy. So I asked him, what do you mean by that? Because I think he might be talking about the community, man. Because the community is gaming community is just bad now, man. Unfortunately, in general, a lot of fandoms are getting really bad now, and nobody's happy about anything.
Well, you
know.
You gotta understand the way things work with media. One of the biggest issues that I've had when it comes to mainstream media for anything, any subject, any topic, anything, is sensationalism.
Yeah,
and I think
right. That's a big part of gaming too, Carlos. Cyberpunk. Let's just say that.
Yeah, and that's what's part of the zeitgeist. That's what people talk about in the gaming community whenever there's huge things that happen. Most of them in a negative sense. When I see, like, when I log on Twitter, it's mostly Halo sucks. Last of Us sucks. It's just that kind of tug and pull, and the Nintendo people, they're the most. They're probably the worst.
Then we can blame social media for that. Because think about it, I think those opinions were always there. We know that from the schoolyards. There was always that crew of people like this.
There's a difference, though, Adam, and you know this too, right? We would talk all this shit about console. What we do at the end of the day, we go to our buddy's house and play that same console we're talking shit about.
We go play it.
But now, these guys wouldn't even do that. And here's the thing.
They say they don't. We don't know. They say they don't.
You know what? That's a good point, because I know for a fact, I'm not going to name any names, that some of these guys out there, they're putting on the front because they know it's going to get attention, which is really bad. Let me read this comment, then we'll go on, because I just realized, we still got 15 questions left, man. Again, you guys went hard this week, man. He goes,
good shit. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, he goes, take Halo fans excited about a new Halo after the beta. All they see right now is negativity, which has to have an impact. I think that's a fair point. I loved The Last of Us 2 and was so hyped for 2 after the leak and all the BS around it, that it was definitely had an impact, especially when some person dropped what happened to Joel in a chat I was in. That stuff could definitely affect your enjoyment for sure. It's the community, man.
Avoid spoilers. Avoid talking about it, watching trailers. I avoid all that shit. When you guys are doing The Last of Us 2 stuff, and I avoided everything. And when the Coalition, they had their review already up, and I was like, I didn't even bother reading this shit. I want to be surprised. You got to just take control of those type of things in your own way.
Yeah, no, I do agree with Temeka on The Last of Us in particular, because I remember playing it. And I remember, even before I played it, there's just people hating on it, and because they saw leaks, and I'm like, why can't we just wait for the game to come out, and people can judge it on its own volition? Well, it turns out that people weren't ever going to play the game, and they're just going to complain about it either way. So I do agree with that. The Halo thing, I'm excited about it. I was kind of bummed about the co-op not being there, the campaign co-op. I don't know. I haven't been seeing as much vitriol as, for example, Last of Us stuff, but I think it's just more people being bummed about the delay. Could be wrong though.
Yeah. So the gaming community definitely making things less fun, which is not good. All right,
don't think about anybody else. Don't rely on any of that shit. Just go what you like to play with. Just play with it. And another thing is, you just it's not like a book. I hate when people always throw the gaming and all that. Because it takes longer. A lot of these games are over 100-something hours. So it's like, if there's a game and you're enjoying it and you're playing it and everyone's poo-pooing it, fuck them. Just keep playing what you're playing. That's your game.
I think the other thing about it is that, like, I feel like, people like to actively destroy other people's enjoyment. I think it's like a situation like that. But I also think, at the same time, when people are being critical of these things, I think also you need to just sort of not just let those things blow across. A lot of us on the show have games that we love, but the rest of the gaming community utterly hates.
Yeah.
And even within people on the within people, oh man, that the minute that you mention that game, people just go into a rage. Why?
Shit, I have a tattoo of a band that was listed as one of the 50th worst bands in the world, and by Rolling Stones. I don't give a shit. I still listen to them. I love them.
Yeah, like, I feel like one of the things you guys need to understand about liking something, you don't need another person's opinion, another person's approval to like what the fuck
you don't need validation,
like.
man.
You don't even need our. You don't need
You don't?
our validation. You don't need anybody's validation. If you like that shit, then you like that shit. You know, people. You know, people on the show said. You know, I say I like the fucking bouncer. I understand it. It's not a game that people like. People when they hear that, they say that game is a piece of shit. I enjoyed it.
There's people who like Man of Steel, and I tolerate with them.
Yeah, you thought Carlo. Here's the thing.
Yeah, I tolerate people who like Batman versus Superman too. You know.
Yeah,
I wouldn't call that tolerated.
The thing about it is, like, again, like, no matter what anybody says about it, if you really truly are enjoy something, what somebody else says about that thing is not going to shouldn't affect your opinion on it.
Yeah. All right. By the way, we kind of have a related question about this later, so we'll get to it eventually. All right. All right. Let's move on here. Chakzilla. All right. These now we're going to more general questions. He actually came to us last time asking us about some good recommendations for 360 games. Now he wants the opposite for PS3 games. So he wants us to recommend to him some hidden gem PS3 games. Like specifically action adventure games and RPGs.
Oh,
yeah, Heavenly Sword. That's an action adventure. Yeah.
It's for Damien. I'm going to exclude myself from this because I was all on the 360. So when you're talking about people with Microsoft, I wasn't in the PS3 life. So see, I'm excluding myself on this one.
There you go.
You are excused.
Thank you.
So games, the PS3 games.
Yeah, hidden gems.
Hidden gems, yeah, I would agree with Heavenly Sword, even though it's something that I didn't specifically play. I actually never.
And even though it wasn't a hidden gem when it first came out, it was very
it was supposed to be, a big to do.
Hey man, it wasn't Gravity Rush PS3 game.
Yeah. By the way, Adam does not have Nickelback on his tattooed on his arm.
No. It's Skinny Puppy. It's Skinny Puppy.
Skinny Puppy.
Oh,
which
man.
they're still around, by the way. I thought you were gonna say Bile.
Yeah.
Oh no, but Bile, they weren't on that list. A lot of people don't like Bile either, but it was a big deal because my cousin pointed out. He was like, he'd send me a snapshot. I was like, take a look at this shit. It was like 50 worst bands. I forgot what number they were, but they were on that fucking list.
That's funny.
I was like, I don't give a shit.
Anyway, PS3 hidden gems.
PS3 hidden gems.
Super Stardust HD is pretty good.
That's a good one.
Because they're a house. Aren't they House Marquee?
House Mark, yeah, they are.
You realize House Marquee has been around for a crazy amount of time. I think I saw
Alienation. They did Alienation, right? They did that one.
I don't think so. I don't think they didn't do Alienation.
Yeah, they did all those top-down shooters. That something dead or whatever. I remember it was a zombie game, twin stick shooter zombie game. Dead Nation. Dead Nation. They did that one. They did a bunch of those type of games.
No, I mean, like, I think they've been around longer than I think they might have been around longer than the guys that made Max Payne. Like, they're like that old.
Remedy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I went over to I just went to Google like PS3 hidden gems. I actually found an article. I'm gonna list some of these. Manny, Nier.
Oh yeah, that is a hidden gem. That one, I mean, granted, now you can play that on a PlayStation 4 or Xbox.
But I just found that funny. Residence of Fate. That was an interesting game because it was an RPG with guns, but it's still a fantasy world. It was okay. It was all right. Oh god, Binary Domain. I don't think that's a hidden.
I didn't play that one.
Yeah. Wait, was that the one where you could like make the ground go up and down?
No, you're thinking of a different one. Binary Domain was the one that had the guy that looked like Torrance.
Yeah, I see him. I'm looking at him right now. I'm looking at him right now. He does look like
my god,
it was a good game.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a hidden gem. Yo, by the way, I don't know about Alpha Protocol being on this list though, bro.
Oh no.
Is kind of a hidden gem. That's the one with the psychic powers, right?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, this one. I can't. Yeah. See, to me, this isn't a hidden gem because I played it.
Valkyrie
Chronicles, man. Valkyrie Chronicles. That's a fantastic fucking game.
What?
And here's one for Brett. Bulletstorm. I know he loved that game.
Bullets. I mean,
Bulletstorm was on all of them. That was people that fly. People looking for the Polish.
Brian knows one.
The Gears.
Oh, what's the one, Brian? What is it?
Time travel.
Oh, Singularity.
That is on
There you
PS3.
go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a favorite of being Manny's right here. Dragon's Crown.
Dragon's Crown.
You know, we're reading the same article, aren't we?
But I pulled it up too.
Hey, Brian, did you like this one? Spec Ops: The Line.
Spec Ops: The Line.
Yeah.
Spec Ops Line, really good. Is Dragon's Crown the one that Jason Schreier didn't like?
Yeah, that's the one he
yeah.
didn't like the artwork on, and then the creator of the game and artist of the game literally said drew a bunch of muscly dwarf guys, with hairy chests, and said maybe this might be more your maybe this might be more your speed.
Yeah, My Nation Races I don't consider that a hidden gem. Where's Riku at, man? The Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel. All right.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm here.
Yeah. By the way, Castle Crashers, I don't consider a hidden gem. That game was like everywhere, you know?
No, that one's not a hidden gem. I can't say that.
No, that was everywhere.
Oh, Castle, yeah.
Fat Princess was
That's
everywhere.
That's an indie darling.
Yeah.
That was everywhere, too. That had a good
Enslaved,
one.
yes.
Odyssey to the West,
yes.
Enslaved.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say, here's the thing, like, granted, you can't play that on a. You can play that on Xbox. I can tell you.
Yeah, that was. I thought he meant the.
No, it doesn't have to be exclusive.
On PS4.
No, it doesn't have to be exclusive.
Oh, number 2 is the Unfinished Swan. A very good game. I enjoyed it.
Oh, I forgot about that game.
That's the one that game is narrated by Terry Gilliam. If you're a Monty Python's fan.
Joe Danger. That was fun. I love that. A lot of people got into that.
Oh my God! Number 1, Tony.
Oh yeah, I know. Tokyo Jungle. Get out of here with that.
So, by the way,
I got one for Brian. I'm looking at another article. Mag, Brian.
Mag.
Yeah, but Mag can't
play
anymore.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Warhawk.
Yeah, Warhawk.
Yeah, I was gonna say Warhawk for the same reason, but it's dead.
Yeah, it is dead. Oh, okay. I don't think I like this article. PlayStation All Stars, bro. Get out of here with that. And Lair, no.
Lair's on here. PlayStation All Stars. There's also Tokyo Jungle.
Oh, the Saboteur was good. Saboteur was good.
Yeah, that was multi-plat.
Yeah.
Saboteur is kind of an interesting subject because I feel like it's a game that wasn't allowed to reach its potential. I think.
I agree.
It's a shame. It's not even on. It's not on any backward compatible service or anyway. You can get it from Origin because I was looking for it recently for PC, and they still have it for sale.
They say on this list it says Vanquish is on there. I would say that's a hidden gem for any console. You know.
Yeah, Vanquish. Oh yeah, absolutely. Even though I don't consider it a hidden gem because everybody I knew at least was playing. But you're right.
Yeah, we were all playing it.
Yeah, we were all playing it. No More Heroes. I didn't.
No More Hero. No More Heroes. Heroes Paradise. The only thing I can say about that, I mean, along with the original No More Heroes, it's a kind of a nicer version of the game. But the only thing is that it's plagued with really bad slowdown and all kinds of horrible things that you know.
Here's one that's interesting. Yakuza 5. I agree with this because it came out when, at the end of the PS3 era, when the PS4 was already out. So it's like, it was only download only. You couldn't buy the physical version of it, which is really crazy. Go ahead.
Disgaea. It's the next
hey, this
one.
guy over here.
I mean, here's the thing. The Disgaea series, it's. I wouldn't say it's exactly a hidden gem. It's sort of.
They have a lot of them, yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of them were mostly on the Vita or the PlayStation Portable.
Yeah.
So this Gaia 2 was like a big console version. I'd have to say that if you were if you're into RPGs and all those sorts of games like that, You
know what? Puppeteer, that counts. That a lot of people play that. That's a fun game.
That's a fun game.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that game should still be. They should at least try to port that thing. They try to get it some life.
Yeah.
By the way,
yeah.
Directed by the guy who was in charge of the Demon Souls remastered.
Oh, really?
Director, yeah.
Nice. Again, I'm just throwing here. Brian, here you go, man. MotorStorm Apocalypse. Didn't you like the MotorStorm games?
I liked the first one. Didn't get into the second one, and the third one I clocked out.
Oh, damn. All right.
Oh, man, shout out.
Personal preference.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Resistance games, man. The trilogy. I don't understand how that didn't blow up as much as it should have.
Oh, here's one for Brett. Kingdoms of Amalur, which recently got re-released.
Yeah.
Oh, Brett, you're sticking around right now, man. 3D Game Heroes, man. Let's go.
Oh yeah, that's
what we
all agree on, man.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a good one. They also have a Deadly Premonition.
Deadly Premonition, yeah.
That's a bit of a hidden gem. It's also a little bit of a hard sell sometimes because it's a little janky.
Yeah, see, I like this list. They got Dragon's Crown #2, Legend of Cold Steel, Legends of Heroes, Trials of Cold Steel, All right, so I think we answered that question enough. Again, we still got a lot more to go tonight.
Good stuff, man.
Okay, good stuff. Good question. All right, next up. I think the next couple of questions are all about indie games. Very interesting. All right, Chakzilla, what are your top 3 indie games of 2021? I just finished Death's Door. It was pretty fun, but I'm wondering if I missed any gems. He likes the gems. That's what he likes, man. The hidden gems.
Like hidden gems.
So yeah, what do you guys have as your top 3 indie games of 2021? Death's Door, yeah, that's a good one. I like that one a lot. I haven't finished. I only played I only got up to the witch. That was really good. Despite the jank, I kind of like the Ascent because I like the graphics. You know, that's only one. No,
But that's not really indie. They had big funding. You know what I mean?
That's an indie game enough. You know.
I mean, Microsoft funded that whole project, so that's big money. Indie, it's got to be something small.
So you don't kind of even know it is kind of.
Because they got money, they had funding behind it. It's got to be something where they don't.
Okay, that's fair enough. All right, so Death's Door for me for sure.
Like Super Meat Boy and stuff, those older ones. They was
actually. Does anybody has 3 list ready? Because I kind of don't.
I don't think I've played 3 indie games this generation.
I played a shitload.
Yeah, again, I'm not really I mean, I play I play a lot of previews for indie games, but I never have those. I was like, oh my god, this game's so amazing.
Tell me, the dude from Queens. The dude from Queens that had the jerk chicken trucks.
What the fuck?
They made that game. Fuck, I reviewed it. I forgot the name of it. It's
I Am Pedro?
No. The jerk chicken. You know the dude. You said, oh, I know him. He's a friend of mine. That made the game.
Oh, Treachery in Beatdown City. That was last year, though. That was last year.
That was last year.
Yeah, Treachery in Beatdown City. Yeah, that was last year. We're talking about this year, you know?
I can't keep track. It all blurs together.
Let me look here. I played McKeb, but I didn't like that game very much. I don't like the way it ended. I beat it, but I didn't like the way it ended. Yeah, I like Death's Door. I don't really have much. Again, I don't really play or enjoy any games like that, you know?
People liked Hades. I didn't bother with Hades.
Yeah, I played some of Hades. I don't like that either, to be honest.
I like the style of Hades.
Our style is nice.
I don't want to. I kind of don't want to get too involved in it. I don't have a lot of. I mean, I don't have a lot of time to play mini games, so I just sort of I enjoy it from afar.
Yeah. What about anybody? Indie games?
It's funny because I don't think I've actually played any indie games as of late. Again, I've only been I've limited time. I am interested. I'll tell you one that I am interested in. It's that top angle 12 minutes game.
Oh, that's a very divisive game right now.
Oh, it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, it's one of those games that people either love or hate. What's up, Brian?
I was about to say that it's on Game Pass, Manny.
Oh, it's on Game Pass. I mean, I was just gonna pick it up on Steam because you can play with a mouse.
No, you can play a mouse on Game Pass.
I mean, I really don't.
Manny doesn't have a Game Pass subscription, so.
I mean, I do have an Xbox. I do have an Xbox, whatever thing on there, but I don't. I don't want to.
They are dangling the carrot, Manny. They're just like Game Pass. Just come on.
I mean, I'm gonna invest in Game Pass for Death's Door.
Death's Door, The Ascent, 12 minutes. You
know which one by the way, since we're talking about games we're anticipating, I want that my God, I forget the name, but the Yomi game, the Ghost of Tsushima side-scrolling game. I want that. That looks dope.
Oh yeah, that does look cool.
Oh, speaking of, sorry, your boy Kojima, read 12 minutes.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So you said he liked it specifically. He didn't say he played it.
Yeah, there's how Kojima does.
I think I saw something like somebody sent him a special edition of it and something like that. But I mean that him like a game don't mean I'm gonna like it.
Yeah,
but
I played 12 minutes. I played a preview of it. Literally, the preview was 12 minutes long. Seems interesting. I kind of want to go back because I want to see this divisive ending everybody's talking about. But yeah, we're not really mega indie guys here. I mean, Brian is, but you play those indie games years later. You don't play them currently, do you?
No, the only ones I have are 12 minutes, which I'm about to play sometime this week, and the Marquette game, which I'm with Tony on that one.
It's the best one, and that's new. It's Huntdown, and I was talking about that last week. That's an indie. That's a small studio that made that game. That's a fun one.
Yeah, what about you guys in the chat? Yeah, what about you guys in the chat? What are your favorite indie games of the year? Let us know. All right, move on. Another question about indie games, I believe. This one is from Villa Kyle. Actually, both of his questions are about indie games. Okay, what indie studio would you like to see get funding for a AAA game, and what kind of game would you want it to be?
Studio AAA.
What's the name?
already got it.
MHDR.
Oh, Studio
MHDR.
MHDR. Yeah. Cuphead.
Yeah, give him all the fucking money. I want Cuphead 2. I want it all hand drawn. If it's gonna take 10 years, let it take 10 years.
By the way, that's another game that was supposed to have co-op, and that shit still ain't come. You know?
Oh,
Wait, are we supposed to have online co-op?
I believe so. Yeah, that's what I heard. But that was a long time ago. Somebody reminded me on the Iron Lords podcast, like, "Yo, I'm still waiting for that co-op." I'm like,
Wow.
like, "Oh shit, I forgot about that."
How come nobody's losing their mind over that one?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
because it wasn't on Game Pass.
No,
because it's not in the zeitgeist right now.
exactly.
They're allowed to get away with that one because nobody once everybody was wowed about the game. So all right, it's run its course. Nobody needs to say nothing no more.
Mine would be my friend Pedro. That was awesome. Put some big money behind that. Bring that out from the side scrolling into a large open world 3. Because it pretty much reminds me of it's not the Matrix. It was that other one with the cop. Oh my god, Boiling was it
John Wick?
No. Boiling was
The
it Boiling
one with
Point?
Oh my god, I know what you're talking about. I know.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what
no,
I'm
it's the Chow Yun Fat game.
Chow Yun Fat.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
Hard
Not,
Boiled.
hard, not,
Yeah.
not hard boiled.
That's a movie that it was based off of.
Yeah.
Stranglehold.
Stranglehold, yeah. That's what my friend Pedro feels like, but just in the side scroll. And if they can just add all the other elements and throw some big money into it. I just don't know if it sold well. That was Dead Toast. That was the studio behind it, and then it was Devolver Digital that published it.
Shout out to GZDR. He's like a blue box.
Don't give those guys any money.
Don't give them any more
They
money.
should do Silent Hill.
Yeah. Oh my
I
god.
don't want them to make a fucking Silent Hill. Fuck them.
Oh.
Don't let them touch anything. Because
Make
man.
a stick figure drawing of that.
No
By the
one's
way-
dying on any of the mills with blue box.
My question's kind of stupid because they used to do AAA. They don't do anymore. I want Ninja Theory to do more AAA games again, man.
I mean now they're
They're not indie.
They are indie.
not
They are.
indie.
Oh, dude, right. They're not.
they're
indie.
not.
Ooh.
No, they're Xbox.
anymore.
That's right. That's right.
But
Well,
they're committed to doing middle A games.
Yeah.
By the way,
Double A. Yeah.
double A, yeah, middle A, double A.
Middle A, double A.
I mean, use the industry stranded terms, man.
There's no industry standard. Who is this industry?
Well, there is. Yeah, there's AAA games, there's double A games, and there's indies. You know.
Somebody had to make that shit up. I'm gonna make up my own term.
You like hip hop? Yo, I'm gonna call him Hideo. You know.
Hideo Kojima.
Like, yo, your name's Jessica Chobo. That's what I'm gonna call you. He literally said that to her. It says like a Chobot. Like, yo, your name's Chobo.
No, it's,
And your name is Prick.
Oh,
don't
say that, man. Oh god.
Yo, also give Playdead all the money they want.
But
They're the ones that made Limbo and Inside.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, man, you know the atmosphere is gonna be there. You know the tension's gonna be there.
Yeah, I just realized a lot of my some of my favorite indie studios are now under Xbox. I was gonna say give the fucking Ori people a lot of money, but Microsoft has all the money for them. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Well, are the Ori guys still their own studio, or are they owned by Microsoft now?
There's a Studio Moon, right?
Studio Moon, yeah. I think Microsoft owns them, right? I could be wrong.
No, I don't think they do. Yeah.
If they don't give them all the money, you know.
Oh yeah, fucking Ori is amazing.
Yeah.
I fucking love that game.
I'm impressed. I'm just impressed with how they've been able to.
Okay,
make
they don't
that
own them,
game.
so yeah, give them the money. Give them the money.
They've just been published by Microsoft,
Yeah.
but they're still
I
independent.
kind of want to
Yeah.
replay
That's
those
the-
games. They're
that's
so
the-
good.
That's the same thing with Cuphead, though. You know, like
Yeah,
Cuphead is not the company that made Cuphead. You know, they're not owned by Microsoft, but they.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
All right, any other indie games or indie developers that deserve the monies?
Who are the people that made Oh my god, I'm blanking on that game. It's the Braid. Who made Braid? What have they done?
That was Jonathan Blow, wasn't it?
That's
Didn't he
Jonathan
make
Blow's
Yeah.
Bastion?
He made that Witness
he
game.
made
Yeah,
Witness, yeah.
yeah.
That was one of the PlayStation exclusives of Witness.
Isn't he controversial?
Oh, the witness.
Yeah,
Is
never
he
mind.
controversial? I mean, he sort of is.
Yeah.
I guess.
He's kind of a
No, that was a Fez guy.
Yeah, he
No,
is.
Was it
Wait,
the
the
Fez
Fez
guy?
guy is the
no,
Fez guy's
no, but Brett's
controversial,
right
but-
though. He Jonathan Blow did something, didn't he, Brett?
I think he came out and it's kind of a tool, man.
Yeah, I think
Did
that's
he
what
do
it
blow?
is. Yeah. It would be funny if you could get if you could pay Fish to come back and do Fez.
Fish.
You know.
I don't know. I mean, to be honest, Phil Fish has got a lot of
He's-
issues.
yeah,
and
he's
it's
got
mostly-
issues, yeah.
It's mostly himself.
Yeah.
Shit, I remember. Oh, go ahead.
Bastion was a Supergiant Games.
Supergiant.
Not the other guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Thank you for that correction. You know.
Yes, yeah, you're right. Supergiant is him.
All right.
I forgot he
Yeah.
did the witness. Yeah, I take that back.
Hold on, because this is bugging me. Hosmarkey did Alienation. You sure about that?
Did they?
That's what
I
I
don't think
said.
so.
They did Alien because it was all those games. I remember when I bought a collection, and it was one of them. It was part of those humble bundle type things.
Let me look this up because some.
Smart.
Yeah, it is Housemark. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does it kill me?
Yeah, Housemark is like they're old.
Yeah.
Oh, they did do it. Yo, man. Well, and they also did Nex Machina.
Oh.
You'll give them all the money.
That was like their last one before. Remember the guy put that sad letter out. Nobody
Well,
pays for this shit.
I think they
Nobody
gave
buys
him
our
more
game.
money. They gave him more money, and we got Returnal.
Oh, dirt.
Yeah, like look at
I bought
They were
Nex
moving from a
Machina.
different type of game, though. That's
How-
he said. We're no longer doing these type of
Here-
arcade games.
Here you go. House Marquee. They were founded in 1995.
Wow.
25 years ago.
First E3,
Almost
man.
as old as me.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Older than you. What?
Almost as old as him. So who's older, Carlos? Housemark
They
and you?
did. This
Oh,
Housemark
Housemark.
is Super Stardust Alien
Incident.
Incident. Okay.
Yeah.
They got a lot of games on here.
We got a golf game, Dead Nation. They got a lot.
That's them. Oh shit.
Resogun.
Yeah,
Resogun
was a shit.
That's
Resogun was
them?
a shit.
Resogun was so good, man.
They did. I guess.
Amavita?
I guess they did the Angry Birds trilogy. Essentially, doing the remake for
Oh, God.
Xbox and 360. Hey man, that's some serious money
Yeah,
right
make
there.
your money. Make your money. All right, man. Let's move on. We still got a ton of questions tonight. All right.
Oh, shit.
Okay. What are
Speed
the
round.
Yeah. We're getting to the speed round soon. Which are the top 3 up and coming indie developers to keep a watch on? And he says Supergiant is his.
I mean, Supergiant has always been sort of guys to keep an eye on ever since Bastion. So
Yeah. I don't know.
Moon Studio is got to be up there.
Sure. Yeah.
I love their fucking games.
Are
I've
they
seen
up and
their-
coming though? Like,
Yeah,
I
I mean their first game was Ori.
No, but that was like what 3-4 years ago.
That was like 5 years
Yes,
ago.
I think he's talking about like new guys, like within the last year or two.
Oh,
Up and
okay.
coming. Yeah, up and coming.
Yeah, because I still think Moon Studios is up and coming because they've only made 2 games.
Yeah, but
but-
they've been around for a while, man. Death Store, he says the developers. How long has those guys been around?
Raw Fury. That's
Acid
what-
Nerve, their name.
That is the publisher. that's Raw
2015.
Fury.
I mean, what was their first game?
Because they sent me. I think Raw Fury. I think it's their publisher.
Titan Souls. They did that was a game they made,
Titan Souls.
and you could kind of tell what it's inspired by: Dark Souls and Colossus.
And Fall.
Yeah.
I'd say
Yeah. Go ahead.
Neon Giant, the guys that did The Ascent. That's actually their first game.
Oh wow. Okay, so they're up
Oh,
and coming.
really?
Yeah, well, why not? Yeah.
Neon
Go with them.
Giants. I like them up.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. Neon Giants. Sure. Keep an eye.
Yeah,
on them.
they've been around for only 3 years.
Yeah, I guess that works because that game was funded, but they're not. The studio isn't owned by Microsoft,
Yeah.
so it was just one of those type of situations.
Yeah.
Similar
It just so
to,
happens to be an exclusive, but Microsoft's not funding it.
they
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
own the studio. So
Yeah.
yeah, throw them in there.
All right. See, we named 3, right? Again, we're not. When it comes to indie games, we're not experts at this stuff. You know. That's 3 enough. I don't care. All right, we're moving on.
Moon Studios counts.
Yeah. All right. Next, This one is from. Oh, now we got a bunch of sponsored questions. You guys have a lot of bonus questions.
Oh, you sponsoring?
Yeah. What happened? All right, make sure. All right. Death sponsored Checkzilla's question. All right. What ending did you get in Mass Effect 2? I just had half my team killed. The only survivors were Miranda, James, Morden, and Jack. Also, did anyone replay Andromeda after playing the Legendary Edition? And what do you think? All right, here's the thing. I didn't realize you could get your members of your squad killed until after the fact, because I got the perfect ending, right? And I was like, wait, you can get your squad killed? But apparently, if you don't do their loyalty missions and you don't repair your ship 100%, some people will die. But this is me. I 100% everything. I'm like, I'm not going to go do the final mission until I clean up the whole fucking map. So I had no idea. So to get that bad ending, I had to purposely go out of my way to do it. But no, they all lived for me the first time. I had no idea. I thought that was just the natural progression of the game. I had no idea you could actually have characters die on you.
Same with me. On I completed the as much as many missions as I could before the ending. So I got only the good ending of that of Mass Effect. But obviously, being Tony is the master of games. He beat the game before me, and he's like, yeah, there's there's an alternate ending, and you got to make sure you do everything.
Yeah.
Once one of them was dying, I forgot which one was in a tunnel, and they said that she was going to die. I re-quit. I just quit and started over, and then I had to look up to, because I couldn't deal with that. I'm like, I made it this far in this game, and now I'm going to have them fucking
as long as you get them out in time, you're good, you know?
There's also
because remember, you get to prepare. They say, "Are you ready?"
You just have to make sure it's the right person, and that's the other thing. Like, because you have to select the specific people. Again, I had no idea. I just picked the people that I felt were right for that role, and it turned out I was right in my assumptions. You know, I was like, "Hey, I need somebody sneaky. I'll get Tally. She's good. I'll get somebody."
Yeah, she died. She died when my first run.
Oh wow! No, I didn't. She was fine, because not only did she have to go through her tunnels, but you also have to clear the way for her and stuff, or she'll overheat. But. And then I was like, I need somebody with a biotic shield. Like, Jack's crazy. Let's get her in there. You know.
I also think that there was also, I remember in Mass Effect 2, there is you can, if you're in a relationship with Miranda or something like that having to do with the ending of the game, I think it all causes them to die or something like that. But all I know is that when I got to the end of Mass Effect 3. I had every single character alive, and I think there was a sort of a glitch with Miranda that she was alive.
Because if you break up with her in 3, she will die. But if you stay with her, she'll live.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't know who. I think it was with Miranda. I don't know who I was with the end, but all I know is that everybody was alive at the end.
Yeah, that's interesting. Right. What about the rest of you guys? Did anybody have anybody die on in their runs?
Yeah.
I even saved the Krogan in the first one.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah, I saved the Krogan in the first one.
Yeah, Rex. Yeah, man.
And I killed the dude. I think I saved most of them my first playthrough, and I was confused why I forgot who died. 1 or 2 people died.
Yeah.
And I had to replay the game.
Oh shit.
Because I wanted the best ending. So
the butter ending.
The butter ending, yep.
Yeah. And for the second part of the question, no, none of us replayed Andromeda. We're not replaying that shit.
I at that point in time, I didn't invest in after.
No, we're talking about now, replaying it now after the Legendary. Oh yeah. So you kind of don't count for this one.
I don't count because I never bothered with Andromeda.
Yeah.
I rage quit Andromeda.
Oh wow! I finished it. I pushed myself through it. Oh my god!
That game started off horrible, and I got glitched out of the fucking game. I got stuck in a part in a save where I couldn't fucking get out of it, and I'm like, I'm not restarting this fucking game. I'm not waiting for a patch. I'm not doing it. I'm just not gonna play this game ever again.
As someone who beat the game, you're okay. You're not missing anything. I'm telling you right now. All right.
I tried multiple times to get back into it, and I said I can't. It just didn't feel right.
All right, move on. We're going to do a little bit more of a lightning round here. Another sponsor question from Ramuneth. This is another one from Tubeke. All right. Do fanboys get way too way too sensitive about others criticizing games Yes, they do. They get way too fucking sensitive about this.
As we've discussed in previous topics. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And the reason is because. Go ahead, Brett.
Do bears shit in the woods?
Yeah, of course they do. And the reason is because they tie their self-worth to consoles. So any perceived attack on their console of choice is an attack on them, so they got to lash out, you know? And in certain cases, some of these consoles now cost a lot of money, right? So they don't want people shitting on the console that costs them a lot of money, so they got to retaliate, you know? And also, yeah, but the main one is just they tie their self-worth to these systems. And they take it personal, which is
they feel attacked when someone criticizes something that is on your side.
Yeah,
not necessarily that you even love this thing. It's just on your side, so you feel attacked.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, so we don't need to go further into it. All right, next question here. This one's another sponsor question. This one's from Eurocar, who is sponsoring Mob Hits. All right, this is a fun question. What moment in your gaming experience or career do you wish you could relive?
Oh,
I like this question.
I want to wish I could play Mass Effect 2 for the first time while we're on the subject.
Oh, yeah, that was epic. That was epic.
One.
That was epic.
Gears 1 again with a buddy of mine to get that feeling.
The
again
roadie run.
Just so you can ditch me.
Oh
no! See, there you go. Because
passive aggressive.
But man, that when I forgot her name, the blind creature that bursts through the wall and comes running at us, and the shock that we had. What do we do? And we had to keep, and we didn't know. We were like, do we have to kill it? We tried to kill it, couldn't do anything. We were like, let's just run. And sure enough, that's what you had to do. Just run through all the rooms.
You talking about the Brumac?
It wasn't the Brumac. No, it's the blind berserker. Yeah.
Okay.
And the first time you're introduced to one of those in Gears 1, that was just Gears 1 in general, just working cooperatively, just together to do certain things, move this, do that. It was awesome. It was so great. I love that experience. I miss that.
It's also important to make the distinction that going back as our current selves into an old game might not be the same. So I guess we're taking our mentalities from that moment and that time as well.
Yeah, you're right, because you think about it, it's like you want to relive these moments, but then you'll be like, yo, what's up with these graphics? You know?
We can replay that. It's just if we were to go back, if they were to think, if you can wipe what you know now, and it's all right, you have one game that we can flesh everything out, and you just go back and play that again, that would probably.
Yeah. For me, it was probably even it's funny because I didn't actually play it. I was watching Manny play it when I first saw Metal Gear Solid. Man, that was fucking a revelation. Like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, you know, you had the opening cinema, and it was just so heavy because, again, at this point, the only voice acting you were used to in games was shitty Resident Evil stuff, right? So this is like legit, serious voice acting with the
Sega CD stuff.
Yeah, exactly. A sewer shark and crap like that. So this is on another level. And then, again, the part that fucks me the most is when Snake leaves the dock. He's walking around controlling the character. Motherfucking credits are still rolling. Like, how is this possible? I've never seen this before, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Metal Gear Solid for sure, man. And runner-up, Metal Gear Solid 3, man. I remember I'm playing this thing for 2 hours. All this heavy shit's going on in fucking Russia and shit. I get fucked up. Snake's in the bottom of a ravine. Goes to black. Snake Eater. The music. Like, that was just the intro of the game? What the fuck? You know? Oh, my God. So good. And that music. What a thrill. Yeah, oh, my God. So good. Hideo Kojima for life, man. Anyway,
I would have to say the original Metal Gear Solid, because it was because of the whole waiting since the 80s to play an actual new Metal Gear game. You know, I mean, me and Adam go back. We were kids when we first played that original Nintendo, Metal Gear. You know, handing the controller back and forth, one person on the map, the other person playing the game. Yeah, so I mean, to kind of come back, you know, I mean, granted, I don't count Snake's Revenge because I think that's a piece of shit game, but you know, after all those years of waiting, you know, since 1988 that game came out, and you know, 1998 comes, you know, Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, 10 years later, man.
10 years later. So it was great to sort of come back and sort of play that game, see what happened to Snake and all kinds of stuff like that, and then also find out about shit that we never got to find out about. Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. So yeah, having that experience again, and just experiencing essentially the next level of stealth sort of games.
Like playing Grand Theft Auto 4. Like, just seeing where they went. Like, holy shit, this is New York. This is it. Get in a cab and take the ride across and do the cinematic view. I'm like, this is amazing. They did it. It can't get any better than this shit.
Uncompressed audio, Adam? Excuse me?
It was beautiful. Jacob!
Carlos.
Oh, yeah, this is an easy one for me. It's Halo 2.
Oh, shit.
And anything. Oh, shout out to Damien. I know you won't hear this.
Yeah, he won't.
Halo 2 is just. I think that's the happiest. Halo 2 is not the best game I've ever played, but it's the happiest I've ever been playing games.
Nice.
It's just it had everything. It had the amazing campaign. It had the amazing multiplayer, and everything was forward thinking about that game, including the online, the clan system, the rankings. It was great. I made a lot of friends playing that game. I played that game. I know Brian's most played game is what's that game called? The one that that doesn't play anymore. Warframe. I'm sad that I don't have an hour count for Halo 2, but I'm sure it's 10 times what Brian has on Warframe, and it's not even close. Because that game, I would wake up, play it. Go, every time there's a football game, I would get on the voice chat so we can talk. So I can talk with my friends and watch the game together through the Halo 2 voice chat. We did glitches. I modded my fucking Xbox because of it. I cheated on Xbox because of it. I was underage, so don't look back at me at thinking that I was a grown ass man doing dumbass shit. I was a kid and I was stupid, and I don't regret it. Halo 2, man, fucking. Yeah, that should change my life.
Made you a man.
I turned into a man while I was playing that game.
There you go, man. All right, Brett, what memory do you wish you could relive? Gaming memory.
Oh man, I wish I could go back and play Final Fantasy VI.
Ooh.
On my Super Nintendo again.
Yeah.
Just because, man,
man, don't you mean Final Fantasy 3?
Yeah. I don't know, man. That just felt like some of the best gaming time in my life. You had so much ahead of you still. It was good.
Nice.
The potential seemed unlimited in video games. They were like, and honestly, yeah, like it was. You were playing video games, and like, man, can you think about where this is going to be in 20 years? Yeah, it was kind of where we're at, but the whole journey was in front of us, and I don't know, man. Like that's when gamers kind of banded together. I mean, it was better and it was worse. Like you could hang out with your fellow nerds and be a bunch of dorks, but also most other people kind of look down at you. So I don't know, man. I miss the camaraderie. I miss the closeness of my tight knit group of friends. I miss the simpleness of just Final Fantasy games. There's kind of like a quiet happiness to it that I don't get from video games anymore. Now video games are rush, do this next objective, follow this next arrow, this kind of thing. Like, I can take it in the story, not because there was a fucking trophy or anything to get from it, or because I had to beat it to talk to anybody about it, or because it was this big thing, but it was just for me, man. It was quiet. It was nice. It was a simpler time.
Well, I mean, also, like, you think about it, like a simpler time, and your whole scope of friends was also just within your general area. Now, the minute that you go on, you have this open world out there within the world of the internet. There's so many people out there. Literally, just as soon as you just start getting started playing, some guy on the internet's just spoiling everything and telling you how much of a shitty game it is that you just played.
You know what's funny?
That goes back to what we were talking about before. Like, what are some things that ruin gaming for you? There you go, right there.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
Carlos.
Just real quick, for Brett, it might have been that. For me, it was the opposite. For me, that's the first time I ever met people that weren't from my neighborhood. Halo 2 because I would get online and I would talk to people. That's the first time I made friends with British. I think that's the first time I made friends with white people.
Oh shit!
Was in fucking Halo 2 because
did you distort your voice? Remember the Xbox
no,
had
I
that
didn't.
option
Yeah,
for small kids to.
yeah. You press the button. You press the color. One of the colored buttons, right?
Yeah.
Why got to be colored?
Well, you
You
can
got to
select.
cut-
You can select the voice too, and then it'll be like a deeper voice. And it's like.
Yeah, so it's it was the first shout out to Brian, but I mean it wasn't Brian, but that was the first time I made friends with British people. I'm like, oh shit, they're just like me. They were just people from TV.
It's an interesting an interesting dynamic of where like you're essentially a person that sort of grew up with it, where we're sort of like, at least for a lot of us in the room, where it was like it was coming into being as we were as we were there. We're seeing it grow as we were there. Like,
yeah, because by the time like Halo 2 was like popping, like we were in our early 20s already.
Yeah, and that's what like the late 90s is around when the internet started to pop. So
Yeah.
it's interesting because at least for me, I didn't have that urge to sort of extend myself beyond the people that I sort of knew in my general area.
Same here. I liked my people, and that was it. I didn't really. But the thing is, that wasn't even a concept for me. Like online game, the first online game I ever played was Metal Gear Solid 4. That was the first online game I ever played in my life.
Metal Gear Online.
Yeah, by the way,
not the best.
Yeah, I'm talking. The 1 and 4. Not the
Metal
the
Gear
first.
Online.
Yeah, because remember there was one for 3. I didn't play that. And I remember this was my exact reaction. Right, I'm playing this shit online. Like, yeah, okay. First 5 minutes, I'm like, holy shit, everybody's just running around shooting each other. This is fucking crazy. 5 minutes after that, oh, everybody's just running around shooting each other. This is boring. that informed my entire online experience till this day. I'm like, oh, online is just a bunch of motherfuckers running around shooting each other. It hasn't changed
now.
Things haven't changed at all.
Doom on PC was my first deathmatch. Those were doing the first going online and playing. There was no talking. You had little text and stuff, but that and Diablo. I remember Diablo had some of that.
No, don't worry. I was on PS3, so we didn't get talking until like 2010 when I was already in my 30s. I was just texting with these dudes. That's all we had.
I mean,
I did not get to chat to these people until I was a man.
That's not to say we didn't have like communication with people online. It's just like it was a sort
AOL chat rooms, man. Remember those?
Going to AOL.
Or
chat
obviously
rooms.
going into forums. I used to talk so much shit on forums back in the day.
Oh yeah, Tony.
Yeah.
Tony has some forum stuff.
Yeah, that's why when I got on Twitter and I saw this shit talking, I'm like, oh yeah, this was just like forums. Then I was already used to it. So yeah, I have been like online talking shit since the early 2000s. But I'm talking about online gaming. That didn't come until later. Anyway, Brian, what memory do you want to relive?
Oh, it's a tough one since I have two main ones. The first one, kind of like with you guys, first online experience was with SOCOM 3. Just having that idea of because the maps weren't that big, but SOCOM was a very tactical game. You actually had to think about the routes, think about your gun and the recoil. Like back then, guns had recoil. Like guns now, in the games they don't actually have that much recoil. They're pretty much laser focused. Like SOCOM, like you could continuously fire, and then you start off aiming straight and forward, and then by the time that you finish your magazine, you're literally shooting at the moon. That's how much recoil these guns had. So yeah, just having to actually think about it, and you can't just spray and pray. You can't just run and gun because your guy gets shot in the leg. You can't jump. It was great, and just having to think tactically and talking to guys on comms and like making a plan of attack and okay, these guys go there, those guys go there. Whoever goes down by different means and tells you different things. It was really good. I've not been able to get any type of experience close to that since maybe Mag was kind of close, but nothing the same. And the other one is Witcher 3, particularly the Red Baron questline. Those of you that have played Witcher 3 and have done that questline, you know exactly what I mean. That was the turning point of the game for me, because I'm like, if the whole game is like this quality going forward, then yeah, this game's great. And lo and behold, yeah, it's one of my favorite games of all time, and just going through the storyline, like the twists and turns, and like you start thinking that, okay, this guy's an asshole for this reason, and then you find out something else, and it's like, okay, maybe he's not an asshole, maybe these people are assholes, and it's like, oh no, then that turns, it's like, I don't know who's an asshole anymore. Everyone's just terrible in their own ways, and some are good, some are bad. Oh, this is great. Like, it honestly was. I can probably replay that one quest line for like days on end and never be bored, because it's just so nice.
Damn, that's epic. All right, let's move on here. Still got a lot of questions. This one's kind of interesting. I think we got to, part of the things we do public service announcements on Throwdown. We educate people, and I'm not saying it's a derogatory. I mean that honestly. I'm being sincere about it. Let me finish this question first, because you guys are halfway through. You're gonna be like, wait a minute. This is from Upper Room AK. What's going on, brother? He goes, why hasn't a AAA asymmetrical game like Dead by Daylight been made? It seems like it would be pretty cheap development wise. It actually exists, bro. Before Dead by Daylight, called Evolved, which bombed, which may be the reason you haven't heard about it. But that is a AAA asymmetrical game like Dead by Daylight, like Friday the 13th. But it bombed, So
wasn't there? What's that? Wasn't it like 8 years ago? There was one fucking name. It started with an H. Not Hardline. It was one fucking game. It was like a shooting game. That was like an asymmetrical AAA game, and it just fucking bombed.
Yeah, so I think that's why you're seeing these games more in the indie space, because AAAs have tried it and they don't do well. So it's not really easy money. Look at Evolve. That's Turtle Rock. It's not an indie studio, So yeah, there you go. I guess that's how badly the game bombed. It's like you didn't even know about it, or forgot about it. So there you go, man. Simple one. Helix, Carlos, was that it?
No, it wasn't Helix.
All right, we don't need to go further. It existed. It's just nobody.
Helix was a good zombie TV show on Sci-Fi for a little bit.
All right, Dumeke. All right, with these, who would win things happening online? For your information, Kratos would make Master Chief his little bitch. I agree. Right. So who do you pick from these matchups? I'm just going to name the matchup and we'll decide who wins. Luigi versus Knuckles. Who would win? Knuckles.
Oh, Knuckles.
Look at the knuckles on him, bro.
Just punch him in the face.
Yeah, that's it. Game over. Ooh, here's a controversial one.
Oh.
I have my answer, though. Sam Fisher versus Solid Snake. I'm going to go with the guy who fights robots.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Solid Snake.
Yeah. This one's really good. Ellie versus Lara Croft.
Oh, Lara Croft.
Lara Croft. I'm gonna see
easy, hand down.
Because she fights dinosaurs. Fights dinosaurs.
Lara Croft.
Yeah.
There's no you in there.
Yeah. Like Ellie fights monsters too, but she don't fight dinosaurs.
But also
Lara.
at the same time, you got to think
not
about
formally trained.
Yeah.
Ellie's not formally trained. Number one, and number two, she comes from a post-apocalyptic world where she's like malnutrition.
And that's right. And Laura eats good. You know what I'm saying? She's
fucking rich.
Yeah.
She's eating good.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, Laura.
She's got an obstacle course.
Lara.
Yeah, Laura. Yeah, Lara. Yeah, now Laura. It's Lara Croft.
Lonnie, Yanni.
And the last one here, Max from Streets of Rage 2, the big dude, buff dude, versus Mike Hager.
Max.
Yeah, because he's a pro wrestler. He's actually, the other one is just big.
Yeah, he's just big.
Max is trained.
No, they're both pro wrestlers. Actually,
Hager wasn't the mayor?
Yes.
He was a former wrestler. Yeah.
Well, he's old. That's one thing then. Because I think Max, no.
He did.
Yeah. Kayfabe, if kayfabe was still in existence, probably Mac Hager would win because he is, he was, formerly the mayor. He's probably a superstar,
Yeah. Okay, he says Streets of Rage 2 because if he was Streets of Rage 4, I think Max would that because that's a Satsui no Hado version of Max. If you guys know what I'm talking about, he gets the superpowers and stuff.
He's also the playable character with the DLC.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Max too because he's younger, he's strong. Yeah, Mike Hager, that's my dude. He has experience, but yeah, Max he's bigger, he's younger, he got this. All right, moving on here. We're doing semi lightning round right now. Yeah. Tumeke, another one. Okay. Has any game ruined other games for you? Maybe you finished something that was so good you just couldn't bring yourself to play anything else for a while afterwards, or maybe something was so bad it turned you off from other games. I got my answer. I say this every time. Fucking Rockstar games. Every time I finish a Rockstar game, every other game was like shit to me. I don't want to play the trash. Yeah. The first time that happened was the GTA 3. I got GTA 3. I was playing that shit like crazy. And every game I try to play afterwards, I'm like, this is stupid. I don't want to play this. I just want to go back to GTA 3. And it takes a while for me to get over that. And the latest one was obviously Red Dead Redemption 2. Played Red Dead Redemption 2. Try to play other games afterwards. I'm like, this is trash. Rockstar games, they're, for me, I'm talking about myself, they're the pinnacle of fucking game development, man. Like, they just do everything right. They make other games look bad in comparison. So Rockstar games always fuck me up like that, you know? Think about it. I'd love Mass Effect 2, but when I play that, I'm okay to play another game afterwards, you know? But when it comes to Rockstar, it's another level, man. But I've never had a game that like was so bad I didn't want to play other games. Like usually if I play a bad game and I play a better game, I'm like, oh, good. You know, it's a breath of fresh air. So it's the other way around. It's a positive thing where like a game is so good it just ruins everything, but never a bad game that ruins games, you know? I'm going to go down the line here. Adam.
I got an easy one.
Okay, go ahead, Carlos. You go then since you're already talking.
Mass Effect World. I mean, Monster Hunter Worlds.
Oh, will you play?
I don't want to play. I don't want to play anything not called Monster Hunter World that has Monster Hunter in the name.
Facts. Yeah, facts. All right, Adam. What about you? Any game that's so good it ruins other games for you for a while?
No, but there's certain types of it. Man, I was going to say for a long time, any kind of big city, open world, I was like, I'm not even going to bother because of Grand Theft Auto. They were 4 and 5. It's like, if you're not on that level, you're wasting my time. Because if I'm going to go on another open world, I can still do side bullshit missions or random shit. But then again, when you play these Yakuzas, it may not be on that level, but there's still a lot going on. Yeah. And you feel immersed in those worlds. It feels real. The people, everything feels real. So, oh man, but for a majority of the time, I would probably just say open world, big city, open worlds, I should say. Big city. I can't really play those, you know, because I think of Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, right. Manny, what about you? Yeah. Oh, by the way, James, the Awake cheered. Thanks for the bits, man. Appreciate that. All right, Manny, any games that ruin other games for you?
I don't know. I can't say I've had any other games that are sort of ruined by other games. I've sort of played other, some games at at the similar times, and yeah, I've never. It's usually like it's almost like I treat every single one as sort of like a case by case basis.
Yeah. All right, Brett. What about you? Any games that ruin other games?
Whenever I get done with playing like Elder Scrolls or Fallout, I try to go back to different, quote unquote open world game like Assassin's Creed or whatever. And they'd just be like, okay, you need to do this and this and this mission. I'd be like, okay, but like, do I have to? Could I go over there and, kill a guy over there? And they're like, no, you gotta do this mission. So I always felt very led around by the nose for like the first few weeks after I got done with the Bethesda game.
Yeah, because they just let you do whatever you want.
Yeah. Well, they're super accommodating of ADD. Like you'll be like sitting there, and be like, I'm gonna go find this. I mean, I'm in Skyrim. I'm gonna find this like cave full of thieves, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, did I see a dragon? You run up the mountain towards a dragon. You're like, oh, I forgot what I was doing. Hey, zombies! And you like go to another cave, and you're like, oh, there's like some secret agent or the kind of crazy mystical secret about this cave. And someone's like, did you ever catch those thieves you were looking for? Like, oh no, I didn't. I totally forgot about that. It just reminds me of like the conundrum of the new Zelda. Like, isn't somebody waiting for you? Isn't something important going on? No, I don't think so.
He just triggered it. That's it. Dead Rising. Any of those time-based games. I hate it now. I hate them. I can't do it because you like that. You find something, you're like, oh, I want to go explore that area. No, because you have this clock running down. You have to complete this mission. You have to go save this person. You got to. I hate that. If I find out there's any timed missions and the whole game is focused on time, no, I can't play that shit.
Yeah,
I think that's Adam. Yeah. I think you may be onto something because I think that's what happens to me. Like when I play like a Rockstar game, I go play something else. I feel restricted. So I'm like, nah.
Tony.
Yeah. What's up?
Barry Burton brought up a good point that I think might be relevant to you in a weird way. In a similar way. He says Burnout 3. Why play any other racing game?
I'm done. Those games ruined an entire genre for me. Think about it. Because I've been playing a bunch of racing games my entire life. As soon as I play Burnout, I'm like, that's it. Doesn't get any better. And Barry, thank you for that, because every single time I play any racing game that's not Burnout, I'm like, this shit's not Burnout, man. And I'm trying to make the cars crash the same. It's not happening. I'm like, nah, man. So yeah, that's my larger. Thank you for bringing it up.
Horizon. Have you played any of the Horizon games?
Yeah, those games.
Those are really good.
They're good, but again, they're not Burnout, man. Like, that's what made me stop Horizon 4. I was playing 3. Great game. That was one in Australia, I believe, right? And when I found out I couldn't crazy crash the cars, like, no matter how much I did, I couldn't destroy them like I couldn't burn it. I'm like, I'm done. Because it was almost there. It was open world, lots of activities. I'm like, it's almost there. And then, Adam, when we played Burnout Paradise Remastered, I'm like, oh, yes, this is the good stuff. Get that shit into my veins, man. So
remember we were trying to...
Yeah, Burnout ruined every fucking racing game for me afterwards, The only racing games, ironically enough, that weren't ruined for me were the Criterion Need for Speed ones, because they're fucking Burnout,
And there's another, and that's the thing. That's why when we always talk about EA and they have this back catalog, all these great games, like, they don't know what they're doing. They do. It's just they don't do it because we did get the Burnout remaster. We did get, and they did another Hot Pursuit thing from.
Ironically enough, the only people that got burned out from the franchise were the people that were making it.
Or publishing it. In this case. All right. Brian, what about you? Games that ruin other games for you?
Easy. Unreal Tournament. Every other FPS game is just nowhere near as good. It's just Unreal Tournament is just so nice.
Gears.
To me, it's just a really good mix of everything. Everything's just weirdly, perfectly balanced, and it's just lovely. Nothing's too strong, nothing's too weak. You can do really well with anything, and there's no bullshit. It's just you, the map, the gun. That's it.
There you go, man.
Hey, Brian, did you ever play Team Fortress 2?
No, I did not.
Played that.
It was all right. I think out of those arena shooters, I think I liked Unreal Tournament, but I thought Team Fortress 2 did it the best.
They did more variety. You could be the spy and you could disappear and stuff.
Engineer.
Yeah.
That's why I always hated Overwatch, because I felt like it was kind of a ripoff of Team Fortress 2.
Yeah.
It was so much more successful.
Oh God. All right, man. Moving on. Another sponsored question. This one is sponsored by E-Man Land. Very generous fella.
Man.
Another question from Mob Hits. He goes, an updated Unreal Engine 5 trailer for Black Myth Wukong was released. What are your thoughts on it? Also, does Game Science, the developer, have the attention of other big companies like Microsoft and Sony right now? We gave a little bit of a talk about it, but yeah, man, you're the guy who kind of brought this game to our attention last year when they first showed it.
I mean, it's very impressive what those guys are doing.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. They're doing a lot more than a certain blue box company that's showing completed gameplay. They literally show two sessions of gameplay for this game. Where's Blue Box?
Yeah.
And these guys are just as unknown. I mean, all I remember they were saying originally is that they were former Tencent employees that didn't want to make those crappy mobile games that Tencent makes.
Yeah, and remember, these guys decided, like, oh, by the way, we got Unreal Engine 5 now. Now here's a trailer in Unreal 5. Like, wow. Because the original one was in Unreal 5. It was.
They were running it on 4, but I mean, I'm sure friggin' those guys saw it. Epic, is it Epic? Epic
Games that owns it. Yeah, Epic.
Oh yeah, Epic. So Epic, I'm sure they saw that shit and said, "Oh, well, we better give them this shit because they're doing some really nice stuff." And this one even looked better than the last one. Not as, if you remember, the previous one had a bunch of skipped frames, and like especially that one section where there was 1,000 people running around them.
Yeah,
it was definitely running in something. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to see them do this, to do something to finish off this game. So
yeah, it looks good. I mean, again, you can check our thoughts on the Thursday show where we watched the video on here.
Yeah, we watched it.
Yeah, it was good stuff, man. Very excited.
I'm gonna say this, like in general, like Journey to the West is like it's equivalent to like making something based on the Lord of the Rings. Like it's that like big high fantasy stuff. A lot of different sorts of things that you could totally draw from. I mean, Riku will tell you another Monkey King's Journey to the West game. You know.
Yeah, exactly. He's seen a bunch of those. All right, good stuff. More. We're almost to the finish line here, people. A few more. All right. These are 2 questions from Upper Room AK, but they're sponsored. We get a lot of sponsors here tonight, man.
Yeah, man, we sponsoring.
So these are 2 PSVR related questions. Sponsored by Mr. Effetall. Very generous fella. Very generous fella.
Eiffel Tower?
Yeah. I think he's a jerk. I don't know. I think I like that guy. So Mr. Upper Room AK's first question here is, at what price can PSVR 2 launch that would make it a success on PS5? I think keep the same price as before, $400.
Yeah, same price. Keep it same.
Yeah. I think that's pretty simple.
Secret.
Yeah.
Keep it safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we need to add more to that. $400. All right. Yeah.
That's fine.
The second question here is, if PSVR were a camera option for most first-person games, could that work? More of a hypothetical.
It just depends on the person. Because for me, I think I'd feel like a lot of eye fatigue because it's just a lot of quick twitching and it's more immersive.
Remember, it's an option if you want,
Yeah, I think a lot of people would like it. I don't know if it'll be for me though.
Yeah. What about you, Brett?
Oh, I think it'll absolutely be for me. I think having it the option to choose is really the thing that's gonna get a lot of people into it because they'll be like, "Oh, I can play this game. I'll give it a try in VR, see how I like it."
Yeah, I think it'll work, But you're right, you have to have the intestinal fortitude, I still remember the first VR event I went to, man. I was the only guy who wasn't getting sick. Me and Hip Hop were like the only guys. Everybody was getting messed up. We're like, we're fine, All right, moving on here. Logic Wins, who I believe has been in the chat with us. So shout out to you, brother. All right. Given the highly anticipated Saints Row reboot reveal in just a few days, what does the reveal need to do to impress you? Adam, I'm going to go to you first.
Grand Theft Auto. It's got to look like Grand Theft Auto 4 or 5. That's it, because that's what I was saying before. It's like I had the first Saints Row, and I played, and I was like, okay, this is good. There was some new mechanics, like flying through the windshield, and stuff like that. But it just, the world wasn't as alive and vibrant like Grand Theft Auto 4 at the time. And it's like, no, I can't. So it has to be on that level, but that's not where the series has gone. It's gone to more of a comedic, real funny, put different outfits on, fly, and do all these, a lot of weird things. So I think they're just going to go down that direction. So it depends. I personally, for me, it would have to be that they decided to go back on the track of being more serious and go into that GTA 4 and 5 type of realm of just bringing a real city to life.
Yeah. I'm on the other end because I feel Saints Row 3 is the perfect game in that series because 2 was good. I didn't play the first one. I can't speak on it. 2 was really good, but it felt like San Andreas, so it didn't really have its own identity. But 3, not only did it have its own identity, but it was still slightly, not too much, obviously, because they still had fucking spaceships and all this other stuff, but like it was still somewhat grounded in reality. But 4 days went absolutely fucking crazy. I thought that was too much, but I think 3 was a good one because it had its own identity, but it was also like fun. It also had a visual style, so I hope they go back to that Saints Row 3 type of thing because it's funny, has its own style, goofy, obviously, but not like we're not in the Matrix like 4,
It's gone so far because Saints Row, that was a gang. That's what it's called. Saints Row was a gang, and now I feel like it's just the name of a series. They're not even connecting to that.
Yeah,
I know Johnny is sort of still
Johnny Gat. They had a fucking DLC with that guy.
Yeah, I remember that. I think that was the last one I played. Johnny Gat Out of Hell.
That was the last one. Yeah, I think that was the last one released, period, actually.
No, because you played that other one, that spin-off shit, remember?
Oh, but that was in Saints Row. That was, oh my God, the Agents of Mayhem.
It was, Agents of Mayhem.
But I'm talking about the core series, I'm talking about that. Right, what about the rest of you guys? Saints Row, what do you need to see to be impressed? Does anybody care?
I mean,
I think
to
that
be
they
honest,
should.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Okay, no,
go, Brian.
Brian, go first.
Okay.
To be honest, I never really cared for the Saints Row games. I just sort of saw them as more of the same of the Grand Theft Auto series. Mind you, I am not a Grand Theft Auto fan. I really don't care for the series, so I wouldn't really need much to make to at least besides going away from whatever the formula is of a Saints Row game. I wouldn't really care much.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
The thing with Saints Row now is that GTA already does that fine line between seriousness and satire. So Saints Row will either need to go either side of that. So either go like full on serious, talk about gangs and all that stuff, or go full on satire and be whacking people in the face with purple dildos. So it's kind of forced down that route.
Wasn't that when they went full? Wasn't that the main plot that the president can fly? I remember somebody playing that, and you see him fly.
Saints Row 4, I think, when they killed off the president. Oh, was that 3?
No, 3. You were the president in 3 already.
Which is when you eventually get that ability to fly.
That's in 4. That's in 4.
That's 4. There you go. So then, they've already gone to that. I mean, that's as far as you go. You already have the ability. To fly.
Like in 3, again, in 3 you had helicarriers and all those other shit, but you didn't have superpowers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like I would prefer it if they just went a bit more grounded, just so that they can actually have some social commentary in there. Again, go back to the roots, talk about what you initially did. Because again, if just go full wacky and crazy, then yeah, it's great and all, but it kind of becomes the problem that Saints Row was, which is that it had no identity towards the end. It was just like, hey, we're just throwing everything at the wall because no one cares anymore. So if you want people to care like us, then make something that we should care about.
Yeah, I agree. I that's my thing. It's like Saints Row 2, I liked it, but I was like, this is just ripping off a fucking, it's just ripping off San Andreas. So 3 to me had identity, but then you're right, with 4 it just lost it because it was just too silly. Even though it did have some of my favorite moments in the franchise, where like Pierce and at least the female version, they're driving around singing the Paula Abdul song with the cat. That was really fun. And then they had the Roddy Piper beating up on Keith David, just like They Live. And then the end, the whole running joke of the game was like, I need power armor. So he's like, yo, I found it. What'd you find? Power armor. He puts it on. You got the touch. So you're doing this the ending of the game. You're hearing this song blasted and you're just going crazy,
One of the best fast food names. Welcome to Freckle Bitches.
Yeah, Freckle Bitches.
I love that.
Yo, Saints Row is nuts, man. All right, and the final question of the night. This one, again, I was a little bit weirded out because I don't know if there's a hypothetical or if this has actually happened. So I'll be going to ask it. This is Jeff Main. He goes, what do you think of Microsoft making a VR headset that's PC only and incompatible with any Xbox? This didn't happen, right? Like, when I was out on Friday, Microsoft didn't announce VR only for PC. That didn't happen, right?
No, they said they weren't getting into that space.
Yeah. So I guess it's a hypothetical. I don't know, man. I don't know.
And it's a good thing they didn't, because it never really took off.
Yeah.
To that level. So
what would happen? I don't know. Chaos on Twitter. It's a hypothetical. I don't know, bro.
It would happen like it's happening on PlayStation, because that headset only works there, right?
Yeah.
You can't use that on PC, and
no, you can't.
It is what it is. It's just there.
Yeah, HoloLens. Whatever happened to HoloLens? This is a good question.
That went to the Enterprise, to hospitals and things like that. They use that.
That's why they go into Captain Picard.
It's like, it brings up environments. I seen there was you can find it on YouTube. It's just for like landscaping and architects showing buildings and then 3D models, so that way they could get ideas. Yeah, it's in the Enterprise world now.
Okay, that's actually more lucrative if you think about
it. The best one that they showed off was like a Minecraft one, and it showed like the buildings and all the structures and moving around, and so it just made sense to go into that private sector, that type of out of the gaming world.
Yeah,
it's a big table shit, so.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so it's a hypothetical question, but I wanted to get into that. We did it, guys. 3-hour show.
Oh my god.
We did it. Adam, how's it feel? It's like the WrestleCast used to do back in the day.
Shit, fucking
this is literally my second 3rd-hour podcast of the day. That one I did with Iron Lawrence was crazy too, But we answered all
Adam, I'm I'm not gonna watch Walking Dead after this.
Oh, now that's what I'm saying. I'm not even sure if I'll be able to watch. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Anyway, yeah. Plugs. Manny, you got anything to plug? Anything new?
No, nothing right now. Just the usual things. Excellence is real. It's always out there. So if you're interested in it, pick it up. And got some stuff coming from Marvel and DC and all kinds of other stuff, and more other things coming in the future. So stay tuned. Also, be sure to check out our Twitter. We put up another poll for the if you want to see me build the Death Stranding cycle model kit live on a stream or two. Just to sort of switch things up. You hang out with me. I'm gonna make some models and do some fun stuff. So yeah, be sure to vote on there.
Good stuff. Adam, got anything to plug?
We got another episode of I Am Negan. That's a TWD Universe podcast that we do. It's myself, Richard Bailey Jr., and Carlos over here. So tomorrow we should have up for the final season, episode 2. And if you don't know, yes, episode 1 premiered. We got that one already up, but 2 is up on AMC Plus. So if you're a Plus member, you can jump on and watch that and hear us give our thoughts and do a rundown of that. So that's I Am Negan over on Spotify, Coalition, website, YouTube, and iTunes. Check that out.
Good
if you
stuff.
like Walking Dead.
The dead shall rise. Oh, man. All right, people. So you already know. Make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch, Twitter, and join the Discord where it is always, always popping. You can find us on any podcast app by searching for Throwdown Show. And you can visit throwdownshow.com to listen to past episodes. If you're watching us on YouTube and you enjoyed this content, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of any videos that go up. Links to everything down below. Once again, our show host, Tony Polanco. And tonight, I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you later, guys.
Carlos Romero.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Adam Vale.
Good week, everybody.
Brett Murdoch.
Real people.
And Brian Manjoma.
When life gets too much, just remember, we're just a bunch of monkeys with fancy shoes.
This is true. This is very true. All right, people. We'll see you on Thursday. Later.
Peace.
See you next time.